another blunt, man. These is good times.
They are?
And you need to quit.
More bullshit.
And go. Everybody, Self in Boston, let's kick it off. So this is what really happened that a lot of your YouTube buddies haven't told you. I'm going to explain it to you right now, the whole scenario, top to bottom. So when this whole thing started, right, Citadel sold a lot of bad paper to a bunch of institutions, GME, AMC, Nokia, etc. These are all bad meme papers, right? That FTDs, all that shit. Some of them they were hiding in Brazil, which we know about, right? And the rest were sold to crypto firms and institutions like Barclays, UBS, Credit Suisse, so on and so forth, right? So
those aren't crypto
Ken
firms.
Had to get rid of this paper as soon as possible. And he knew that FTX was an up-and-coming, really fast-growing crypto fund. And we know that Kenny wanted to get into crypto. Kenny's crypto fund with Virtue, Sequoia, Paradigm, and Millennium.
That's true. That's true.
Today, why don't you give this to FTX, right? It's a poisoned apple. So what he does is create what's called an exotic swap, right? Basically, it's a custom job.
Where's the proof? Where's the evidence for any of this shit, by the way? Exotic return swap, custom job. And what is this? He created this in fucking Microsoft Paint? What the hell is this? Where's the proof? Proof. Oh, look, proof. What is this? An agenda? Well, that's not proof of anything. What? Proof of my theory being correct. Gary Gensler's calendar? Discuss. Okay. Don't see how that's proof. But all right. Not proof.
To FTX, and they think, because it's backed. Remember how we saw that Kenny owned a bunch of AMC and GME? Well, they were backing it, and this coin, this token, AMC FTX token.
Where's the proof that they were backing the AMC FTX token? That cannot be true. Cannot be true. These tokenized securities were not traded in the United States. They were never permitted to be traded in the United States. They weren't held in the United States. Has nothing to do with the United States. So what is he talking about? Where's the proof? Where is the evidence?
One-to-one
does not exist.
Allowed them to create all these new shares to short with. That's why on the stonkometer, every couple hours you'd see a new share was able to be derived from out of nowhere.
That's ridiculous. What was happening is shares were being returned, like they always are every fucking day.
FTX token, and it was one-to-one shares, and it allowed them to create all these new shares to short with. That's
nonsense.
Every couple hours you'd see
Donkometer.
A new share was able to be derived from out of nowhere that they were using to short. Well, it came from FTX. It came from Bittrex. People that bought
Bittrex. What does Bittrex have to do with this? What does Bittrex have to do with this? Oh dear.
This custom swap that Kenny made. Remember how we saw it in the movie? How they were doing custom swaps?
We saw it in the movie? What movie are you talking about? This isn't a fucking movie. What the fuck? Swear to fucking God. These motherfuckers belong in jail. Look, the AMC token's trading for $3. Wow. That's shitty.
For Goldman and all these other people.
What's up, Chris?
Same concept. And this was a poisoned apple. And everybody who bid on this, like Barclays, UBS, Credit Suisse, they all took a bite. Now, what happened was this.
What?
As soon as he sold.
Oh my God. This is a poisoned apple. And every time.
Poisoned apple.
It's a poisoned apple.
Bid on this.
Everybody who bid on it.
UBS, Credit Suisse, they all took a bite. Now,
they all took a bite. Well, that makes a lot of sense. This
Now,
guy
what
has no
happened was
fucking
this.
clue.
As soon as he sold them that, they started to hit pain. They took
Somebody is fucking around with FTX here. Because if you go to another exchange, hell, I think even on FTX, I don't even know how that's possible. It is being traded. No, not on FTX. I'm sorry. You have to go to another exchange. Here, this is on BingX, and the FTT token, FTT USD or FTT Tether, is most certainly being traded. It's $1.47 right now, and of course that's down from like $25, but it is being traded. Look at all this activity too. It's being traded more on this exchange now than it ever was before when it was an active token. I mean, that's wild. Scammers, I don't know. Maybe it's SBF.
took one bite, and all of a sudden it was like, oh shit, this is bad. This is going to hurt us. And it started to hurt FTX, right? So 2 months goes by, they're spending money they don't have. And they're saying, okay, let's go to Elon, right? They go to Elon, they say, hey,
Oh,
we want to propose to Elon, plan for him to buy and to support this thing. Elon says, no, I want nothing to do with it. It's all fucked up. And a bunch of other funds that don't want anything to do with it because they have this bad debt, this bad AMC debt, bad meme debt.
What?
And then somebody out of these groups here, or somebody that's not listed here, started to cover. And what happened? We had a June rip, right? It went all the way up to $72, and people were fucking just freaking out.
Wait, so he's saying that this was 2021. He says 2022 over here, but he means 2021 because he's talking about last summer. What the hell? This is delusional.
Out, and the price went down immediately afterwards, so on and so forth, down about 45, right? So they basically spent all their money in June. Okay, they spent a fuck ton of money in June. They lied about it to the public. They started using customer
Who are they?
monies, right? Deposits,
FTX?
speculative plays, trying to win the money back, right? So this is happening, right? They're trying to, Citadel here is trying to get this company down to an absolute nothing. Like they want to buy it so they can absorb it to this company right here, Kenny's crypto company and Citadel, right? Remember how Citadel's opening up crypto and being a derivatives market? Well, FTX would be perfect for an acquisition because they're going to be worth next to nothing. He can buy everything out, pick cherry pick.
Wait. So
we found out a couple of weeks ago.
So this was a plan
margin. They're getting a collective margin call
by Ken Griffin to acquire FTX cheap.
Had a huge amount of these swaps that they bought.
What?
Custom jobs, right? Credit default swaps that were exotic, and they all started to hurt because of the rising interest rates and everything else that was happening in the market. So what happened? Well, FTX they spent all their customers' money. No more movement of money, right? So what happens? FTX fails. They go into bankruptcy. That is basically what happened, right? And it's a domino effect. Started with Barclays, then the UBS, the Credit Suisse, and eventually anybody else who has bought this derivative that Ken Griffin has sold to them is going to go down very much like FTX. Now, the bigger companies like Binance and whatever else, they are a lot more money than FTX, right? They have a lot more money than all those guys. So they're able to stay for how much longer? I don't know. But remember the connection between Ken Griffin and, I'm sorry, not Ken Griffin, but the fact that Sam Blankman,
spit it out now,
and the relationship
Sam Blankman,
the SEC, and Caroline Elson.
This clown can't even get the names right.
Than all those guys. So they're able to stay afloat for how much longer? I don't know. But remember the connection between Ken Griffin and, I'm sorry, not Ken Griffin, but the fact that Sam Blankman and the relationship he has with the SEC and
Sam
Caroline
Blankman,
Elson, CEO.
Who the fuck is that?
Alameda is a sister company of FTX. What happened was Glenn Ellison, Caroline's father, is a professor. In fact, he is the former boss of Gary.
Where's the proof for any of this shit?
So Gary Gensler is helping these guys get regulatory clearance. Regulatory in the sense that they're able to more or less, I want to just say this correctly. They're more or less able to get clearance so they can start trading on the open market. So, lo and behold, he convinces Goldman Sachs, his other old boss, hey, get involved with these guys, get them all lined up, and then we'll all make money together and some kind of a deal, right? And that's what happened. They got in it together. And then, lo and behold, the whole thing just took a giant shit. And after that, nobody could fix this thing. I'm going to just put a picture up real quick. This is the relationship, guys. Take a look. Gary Gensler, Glenn Ellison, they're friends. They brought in Goldman in the middle. And this is the relationship. This is the circle jerk right here. That's how it all began. And they were trying to cover this up because Gary was trying to help do the right thing. They're all helping each other out. They're all friends. And that's it. Right now, it is 10:52 on the Eastern Standard Time Zone. Sam Bankman-Fried is currently arrested. He was arrested a little while ago, and he's being held and detained.
Arrested?
In the Bahamas.
Really?
Okay. The girl, Caroline Elson, is in Hong Kong. She got on a flight to Hong Kong, and she's heading to Dubai, which is non-extraditionary. So there you go. She escaped. And now they're hiding. And that's it.
They're hiding. I thought
this whole thing is related to AMC and GME and bad debt and everything else. It's all because Ken Griffin sold everybody bad paper, his enemies, and he poisoned them.
But I mean,
he was able to do two things. He was able to get rid of shit off of his books, and he was able to do this. FTX. He was able to poison them. FTX would have gotten so low that he would have been able to buy it out, absorb it into Citadel'S securities cryptocurrency, and they were already in bed with Sequoia anyway. So
it's the most ridiculous bullshit I have ever heard.
So it's like, there it is, guys. That's what happened.
No, it's not. I mean,
please consider subscribing to this channel. Hit the
found
bell
value
subscribe.
In a fucking complete fantasy. I mean, give me a fucking break. And this is not proof. Not proof at all. What is links to his own channel posts? So what? Members of the staff of Chair Gensler met with staff of IEX and FTX to discuss custody of digital asset securities by special purpose broker dealers. What does that have to do with what we're talking about here? And what happened to CGRA, his latest pump and dump? I don't even know. CGRA. Oh, wow. Great. Awesome. Oh, yeah, it's lower. Of course it's lower. What a piece of shit. What a piece of shit. I mean, you can't just draw a shitty flow chart in fucking Microsoft Paint and come up with this shit. Meme stock paper, bad meme stock paper, poisoned apple. Where's the evidence? Where's the proof? Barclay, UBS, Credit Suisse, Bittrex, all these firms need to be fucking suing the fucking shit out of this clown. Not to mention Citadel. I mean, no proof whatsoever. He needs a cease and desist. That would be nice. Okay, then we have this asshole.
Hey, what's up? This Frankie. Let me say I'm not a financial advisor. Anything that I say in this video should be used for entertainment purposes only. Whatever I say in this video is my opinion. It may not necessarily be factual. Don't buy and sell a stock because of anything that I say in this video. Well, look, I see Jay Ingram. They said that he didn't get back into play. I watched his last video. Now, you know, a lot of people, man, was going to Jay Ingram, you know, because he put out them positive vibes, and he helped motivate people when it comes to AMC, when it comes to the AMC short squeeze play. But I think it was week 4 last, he said that he had sold all his shares. You see what I'm saying? So now in the last video he just did, now he's saying that he still has some AMC shares. So I'm assuming that he bought back in the AMC short squeeze play. But see, that's what happened, man, when you're emotional and you listen to certain people. And you got to understand around here, man, we diamond-handed. But Jay, man, welcome back to the family, but don't worry about it. You got a lot of people, man, that already got back into play, probably didn't tell anybody. But a lot of people going to be trying to rush to get back in Monday. Trust me. They might not say nothing, but they're going to be trying to buy some AMC shares Monday. Ain't no biggie, though. But look, Wall Street, Wall Street and the 1%ers, they engaging in a get-rich-quick scheme.
This is what we came for right here.
And what they doing is they selling billions of fake counterfeit AMC shares. And they making billions of dollars
Fake counterfeit.
off the AMC stock. And they saying to themselves, why wouldn't we do it? Ain't nobody gonna stop us. We don't have no type of regulations to stop us. We ain't gonna get no fines, and we ain't gonna get locked up. And see, in my opinion, man, I'm thinking right now, these guys, they're not even trying to find the stock. They ain't trying to locate the stock. They ain't even buying the stock. A lot of them ain't even using no money. They just using the concept
What?
of AMC. And they making billions of dollars off our stock.
What the fuck is
You
he
see what I'm
talking
saying?
about?
Look at Wall Street.
Okay.
Wall Street, man, in my opinion, is operating like a big trap house. And what they pushing is counterfeit AMC shares. You see what I'm saying? The hedge funds,
Got some
these
experience
short
with that,
sellers,
huh?
these crypto exchanges, they making billions of dollars off our stock. And if they think that the apes and the AMC shareholders are not going to get rich off our own stock, man, they got to be crazy. And just look at the whole FTX debacle.
Here we go. Here we
Now,
go.
they're supposed to have 400 million tokenized crypto coins. And each one of them was supposed to be bagged up by AMC share. You see what I'm saying? And I'm like,
Proof?
where you get the shares from, it ain't no more shares. And now they saying that these guys, you know, they didn't even purchase the shares. And like I said, once again, they just making money off the concept of AMC. Just saying that they got AMC, people making billions of dollars. And I'm wondering, man, is the powers to be gonna make these guys this week cover those 400 million shares? Or are they
Who?
gonna tell them, man, don't worry about
Why?
it, we'll work something out, man. Y'all can cover them over a period of time. And when I was looking at Twitter,
Not traded in the United States. So
this is
doesn't.
alleged, but some of the people
Right.
on Twitter were saying that FTX was being used to launder money for hedge funds, and that the hedge funds was using the money
Oh, that
to
sounds
short
credible.
crypto. And then somebody, you know, was accusing Citadel for being involved. It's just allegations. You see what I'm
Al
saying?
from
I
Boston,
know I watched
maybe?
Al from Boston last video. He talked about Citadel having something to do, you know, with the whole FTX debacle, how it went down, how they were trying to run FTX out of business and stuff like that because they want to start a crypto business. But
They always want to run everybody out of business.
you can go
Makes a lot
check
of
his
sense.
video out, you know,
Jesus fuck.
on his channel. But here's the thing, man. I'll say this much. You want me to believe that a group of young people in the Bahamas was allegedly engaging in a $50 billion crypto scheme. And none of the major players, the 1%ers in the financial system was involved. And that those that control our financial system didn't know about it. As greedy as the 1%ers are in our short squeeze play, as desperate as they are for liquidity and them being over leveraged, you want me to believe that when this thing went down, you want me to believe that $50 billion was being made and none of the major players knew anything about it. Man, I'd be crazy if I believe that. You see what I'm saying? You know, our financial
Nobody knew
system
about Madoff.
is one big fraud.
Nobody knew about
And
Enron.
it's costing the American public
Nobody knew about WorldCom
trillions of dollars. And it's destroying our economy.
till
You
it was
see what
too
I'm
late.
saying? And I'm going to close with this. This is going to be a short video. I'm going to close
Good.
with this. If you think the 1%ers was over leveraged, if you think that they was desperate for liquidity, with all this stuff going on, man, they standing on the edge of the cliff, about to fall off. And you see what I'm saying? And what they doing right now,
No, I
they
don't
saying,
actually.
look, wake up everybody. We got on the payroll in mainstream media. Next week, tell them this week coming up, tell them, man, we need them to start pushing them FUD articles. Got to start creating that FUD. Go get all our shields. Make sure you wake the shields up. Everybody we got on the payroll, man, tell them they got to go to
Well,
work.
interesting he
And
says
tell them
that.
to make sure they target them AMC folks, them AMC retail investors, because we need their shares. Go ahead and get the pump and dump plays ready. Get them ready. You'll probably see plays start.
Look at all
rolling
these
out
hit
of nowhere.
pieces.
Retail ain't pushing them. Ain't no bad news. Plays just running.
AMC's prospects
Just to try to
bright.
get our AMC shares because they desperately need
We
them
will still
at this
accept
point.
crypto.
You see what I'm saying? But it ain't gonna work because see, we diamond-handed and we know what our shares are worth, and we
Top
not gonna give them
expectations.
away.
All
And
these
I
hit
say
pieces
this,
here.
man, if for some reason I play start to squeeze, you know, next week, the next 2 weeks, my thing is this: you need to know your numbers. I know my numbers, and my numbers are reasonable. But my numbers are reasonable enough to the point to where I don't plan on getting caught holding the bag. But at the same time, I ain't finna give my shares away out of fear because I know what our shares are worth. Thank you for taking time out to watch the video.
Good Lord.
Have a nice day.
Good Lord. Can you trust Stonko Tracker? Of course, Stock J may explode tomorrow. Was BitMax naked shorting AMC? Well, let's just round out with this trio of idiots.
Advice. It's not legal advice for entertainment, educational purposes only, and everything I say is my opinion. Please don't make any financial decision based on anything I say in these videos.
Know your numbers, know your brackets.
Know that YouTube algorithm stuff, so you get the videos I put.
Most importantly, know your why. Remember your why.
See what I'm thinking. See, I'm analyzing that data, but like I tell every day, the data they release us is false. It's going to give us a false narrative of the market, so we can make bad trading decisions. Listen, this FTX thing is going to get worse and worse and worse every day.
Well, don't you love that? You know, blame the data for making bad trading decisions. I mean, that what a piece of shit. Sit there and blame your bad trading decisions on fraudulent data that's meant to sway you into making bad decisions, bad trades. What an idiot. So the data is fraudulent, okay?
Because what it's doing, it's exposing all the other bad actors. Because if it wasn't
always bad actors with this clown,
that BitMax was holding allegedly 625 million. Well, I believe
those faces. God, those faces. BitMax, AMC, BitMax, film licensing, BitMax. What is he talking about? BitMax?
Counterfeit AMC shares that they were using as collateral for tokenized stocks. And it seems like BitMax was also holding counterfeit shares of GME.
What the fuck is he talking about?
BlackBerry and counterfeit shares of Nokia. Now, I'm not exactly sure how many they actually had.
Really?
But you know, and I,
because that data is fraudulent,
that as this investigation continues, as we dig deeper and deeper and deeper, we're gonna see that these guys were either naked shorting these shares or were hiding fair to the livers of AMC, of GME, of BlackBerry, and of Nokia in these tokenized stocks. It's
hiding them.
Absolutely outrageous. All they were doing is just robbing retail investors and robbing pension funds. And I believe the SEC was aware of what was going on and just turned a blind eye. And the thing is, as this investigation continues, more and more of the malfeasance and criminality is going to be exposed. And I would like to know what Gary Gensler's going to have to say, because evidence suggests that Gary Gensler might have been involved in some of these transactions with FTX, and it just reeks
about
of
BitMax.
Corruption. It just reeks of nepotism. And at this point, the more I read, the more sick I get. The more I investigate, the more sick I get. Because, like I told y'all before, when I got in the AMC play, I got it for the squeeze. It's only later on that I found out how corrupt the market was. And the longer we stay in this play, the more corrupt that I see the United States stock market is. And as I said before, I believe it's a threat to our national security because they're making international investors lose
nepotism
confidence
because
in the United
I don't know about that, what he's saying. Making it anyway, nepotism because Caroline, what's her name? Schiller? Crap, I forgot her name, but the Alameda hedge fund that was FTX market maker or whatever. Her father was Glenn Caroline Ellison. Her father was Glenn Ellison, who is he is connected at shit. I just had it up. He's connected at MIT. Okay, here's the connection. So Glenn Ellison is an economist. He's a professor at MIT. You know who else was a professor at MIT? This is what Al was saying. Was good old GG. Gary Gensler was a professor at MIT of finance. So there's the connection. And Gary Gensler also worked at Goldman Sachs. So that explains the other connection. But MIT, come on. Cryptocurrency. Well, anyway, he was a professor at MIT. I know because I watched one of his lectures series last year. But anyway, so I'm assuming that that's what he means by nepotism. I don't know.
States stock market. Anyway, hit the like button, subscribe on the YouTube algorithm, and tell me what you.
That's it. Okay, so Bitmax, film licensing. I don't know what that has to do with this. BitMEX, maybe BitMEX. Said BitMax, but Gamma Squeeze. Oh boy, Gamma Squeeze. Yeah, cross trainer boy here. I love he always wears that shirt when he's walking. Always wears that tank top. Puts on his walking outfit. Multiple squeezes. Here it is. He even talks about a gamma
It's
squeeze.
not financial advice. It's not legal advice for entertainment, educational purposes only, and everything I say is my opinion. Please don't make any financial decision based on anything I say. You can see I'm analyzing that data logically so we can make bad trading decisions. Listen, AMC.
I love the soft filter
I know
too.
We're not supposed to give dates. It can squeeze at any time. It could be this week. It could be next month. But the numbers, the charts, it looks like it's imminent.
He doesn't even know what to say.
We might be able to see some big moves this week. And I'm not telling you to buy, hold, or sell AMC, but the charts and everything I'm looking at tell me that this week we should see some big moves. There's going to be a lot of volatility.
Not so you're saying to buy it then?
Of what happened
or hold
with FTX and the 1.5 billion of counterfeit shares. But here's the thing.
1.5 now.
857 calls that are in the money. Okay? And if it goes to $8, that's going to be a lot of call options that those guys are going to have to buy. Okay? A lot of call options that those guys are going to have to buy, the hedges, the bad actors. So not only do they got to find these 1.5 billion shares, these counterfeit shares they got out there,
Oh,
I
it's so
believe
simple for
that
him.
we might start seeing
So
a gamma
simple.
squeeze next week.
What an idiot.
And the definition of a gamma squeeze is
Oh boy,
the
here we
gamma
go.
squeeze happens when the underlying stock price begins to go up very quickly within a short period of time, and more money flows into call options from investors. That forces more buying activity, which can lead to higher stock prices. The bottom line is this. As
There hasn't been a gamma squeeze in
more
over a
calls go
year
into the
on
money,
AMC.
the people who sold the calls, and these are usually naked calls, because it's not like you and I selling
What?
calls where we have to have the shares to sell the calls. These guys sell naked calls, and that's another reason why the derivatives is
What the fuck is he talking
$2.4
about?
quadrillion. That's another thing. That is why the derivatives are $2.4 quadrillion, because these bad actors sell naked calls. They sell naked calls. So because they sell the naked calls, when the stock starts going into the money, they got to start hedging the bet and start buying up the shares. And if they start hedging on Monday or Tuesday, we could see a lot of activity going on next week. So not only is there potential for a gamma squeeze, and this is just my opinion, do not buy, hold, or sell based on anything I say in these videos, but being that there's 56,000 calls that's in the money,
that's nothing.
It might start a gamma squeeze starting on Monday or Tuesday.
Oh, shut up.
And if that happens, especially with everything else that's going on in the market, with all the counterfeit shares that's been exposed, we could see some real volatility next week and the following week going into December. Anyway, hit the like button, subscribe button, all that YouTube algorithm stuff, and tell me what you think about 56,857 call options in the money, and should we see a gamma squeeze starting Monday? Anyway, have a great day. God bless, and I appreciate y'all on this journey with me.
Jesus Christ. Okay. They're getting this under control now. Just look at the fact that FTT filed before the open tomorrow, bankruptcy. They can hedge by buying a higher strike call. Thank you. Yeah, and we talked about this months ago. The fact that I even have sources that say, guess what? They don't hedge on these beam stocks the same way. They don't have to. They don't have to. They can hedge in different ways. They can hedge in the option chain because that gives them the volatility exposure. Because what was happening was they were hedging, and the hedging wasn't working because the volatility increased so much on both sides of the option chain that they were losing money based on the volatility component. So not on the meme stocks. I got a market maker saying that, and I got a broker saying that on a video source I found months ago. Maybe we should look at that. It's been a while, but okay. Scavenger thinks it's real too.
What is going on? We haven't done a Sunday walk and talk in a while, so I figured we'd hop on because we have a lot of stuff to look forward to this week. Just if you guys see, guys, it is snowing outside right now, but I'm just in a sweatshirt because I'm fired up for next week, so that's keeping me warm enough. But it's been a crazy end of the week, coming into the weekend, obviously, with the whole FTX, collapse, and just a lot of, we found out with FTX, there's more and more news coming out every day, but how this kind of corresponds with AMC's, because we found out that FTX wasn't even holding the cryptocurrencies that their clients had, right? So they pretty much were just this Ponzi scheme taking place, right? They sold assets that they didn't have, which is something apes retail have been talking about for a very long time.
That's not, no.
While the news called us conspiracy theorists.
That's not what we learned, I don't think. That's not the same thing. He's already equivocating.
Idiots.
Good Lord.
But this is what we've been talking about, guys. They claim they own GameStop. They didn't have any. Clients holding, you know, clients that were involved with them held AMC and GameStop. Guess what? FTX didn't have any. So
Well,
obviously
it was
when people
European
started
anyway,
selling out,
so none of that was held in the United States. You weren't allowed to buy it in the United States.
it vaporized them. It vaporized them because they never expected
Right.
such a quick sell-off to occur, right? Onesie twosies here and there, they could come up with money from over here and bring it on over to the seller to fill that order. But when everybody sells off at one time, causes some big problems. This is going to directly correlate with AMC this week because this is going to cause a chain effect of
Here we go.
liquidations that begin occurring, and we're going to see it. We're going to see
You're going to see AMC liquidated.
investigations open, and we're going to see other cryptos, institutions, whatever it may be, brokerage firms that claim they're holding shares. We're going to see that they're really not, right? So when we have a company or a brokerage firm claiming that their clients that are using that brokerage firm actually have the shares, we're going to come to find out that they don't, right? We're going to come to find out that, for instance,
The shares, I haven't seen any evidence that said they were supposed to own 400 million shares. So nobody's shown that. But now he's saying that brokers in the United States, we're going to find out that they are also equally as fraudulent. I mean, okay, all like Model 3 Dude said, all smiles until tomorrow when nothing happens.
doesn't have
Pretty much.
the AMC shares. They're not.
Everybody
holding
knew
the
about
AMC
FTX on
shares
Friday.
that they claim they're holding. And this is going to cause a catastrophic of events that we've been waiting for in this play for a long time.
Clearly, that's why this happened.
This is an
on
exciting
Friday,
moment.
right?
It's a very historical one that's being made right now, but it's a very exciting moment because this is everything we've been talking about for a very long time. This is the catalyst for the Moass to happen.
This is the catalyst. Oh, there it is. This is the catalyst. I did not read his research on FTX and its effect on AMC. I did not. Is it in a video
People
or?
are like, oh, Moass tomorrow, Moass next week. We can never predict the exact day that this is going to occur, but what we can do is look at the time of events that are taking place and know that we're that much closer. What we're seeing right now is going to be the catalyst for over leveraged shorts to cover their positions, for failure to delivers to be covered, for massive buying pressure on squeeze plays like AMC and GameStop to just cause upwards price movement. Sorry, I can't talk. This is exciting.
Sometimes
news,
that happens
guys,
when
and
you
we'll be
spew
back
nonsense.
later tomorrow with another video, but I just want everybody to know out there this is very bullish for,
Of course it
us
is.
retail investors in these plays.
Anything they have no
And
clue about is
you
bullish.
guys should be excited because this is the events that we've been waiting for, and we're going to see
Nobody knew this was
over
going to
the next
happen.
few weeks the domino effects start taking place.
No,
What we've
you
been
knew
waiting
that there.
for,
You
guys,
thought
is
that there would
finally
be
occurring
something
now.
else that
So
would.
that's it, guys. I'll keep this video short for you, but this is exciting, okay? This is what we needed to occur for this to start
Good
taking
God.
place. So I'll see you guys on the next one. But
Yeah, I wonder how the futures will react too. My guess is it's going to gap up. Red day because of profit taking. Well, actually, both. So I think it'll be a gap up, and it will eventually collapse. Personally, how far? I don't know. But I think the best thing that could happen would be to gap up. A lot of retracement levels being hit. We'll look at that momentarily. What is good old Jeff Forbes saying these days?
What's going on, everybody? Jeff here. Welcome back to the channel. AMC on Friday had one of its biggest intraday moves that we have seen in quite some time, up over 17%.
Oh boy, 17%, or $1.07. Wow, huge move.
heading into the
Huge
week
move.
ahead. Talk about the entire stock market as it's seen a little bit of a rally. Obviously, after CPI had come in a little bit less than expectations. I made a video yesterday talking a little bit about the short-term technicals as well as the bigger macro picture. And I also want to talk about the fallout of the FTX. Okay, a lot of people have been talking about over the internet how some of these large institutions are going to be affected after losing so much capital in such a short period of time. Are margin calls going to be made? Are they going to have to sell and liquidate some of their other assets in order to maintain their minimum liquidity requirements? I want to talk a little bit about that as well as how it correlates to the entire market and more specifically AMC, guys. So let's get right into it. First off, as you can see this chart here, up over 17.5%. When you zoom out, look at the bigger picture, you can see that this pattern is only just the beginning for what we have seen time and time again. It starts by a little bit of a technical breakout over a resistance level, kind of piles on, it shoots up a little bit. It's continuing to make a higher low, obviously, until it kind of gets pulled back. Now, a lot
also
of this, especially the past
lower
2 times,
highs,
has really been done by pure manipulation. Okay, we talked about that in one of my previous videos, how the circuit breakers were tripped a little bit prematurely to the upside, but obviously it was not tripped prematurely to the downside. Very
what?
convenient
No,
for them, but it seems like it's a similar pattern.
that's not even what you said. You said you didn't even know it was 5%. This is gaslighter. No, you said you didn't realize it was 5%. Probably saw it in my video where I talked about it and showed, no, it's 5%. What a, my God, these
that
clowns.
continues to play out. Now, the reason why we're seeing also these higher lows, okay, on some of these, mini squeezes is that's just the environment that we're in, okay? When you talk about the speculative
not mini squeezes, they're fucking short covering
market,
rallies.
when you talk about this, fantasy money supply that we lived in, okay, from the Federal Reserve, just printing money left and right, not only printing money left and right, but also 0% interest rates. It was a fairy tale environment that we were in, okay? Stocks of companies that are truly going to be worthless, in which AMC
like
is
AMC.
Fundamentally sound company. Obviously, they have their struggles like all
What?
do, but you're talking about
What?
other companies that are truly.
Did I just hear that? A fundamentally strong company? Did you not read the fucking earnings report? How many lies can this guy tell in 5 minutes?
Are not
Fuck
going to
me.
5 years. Even they, spiked, from $1 all the way up to $20, $25. Some of them even more. That was the environment that we were in. Okay. Obviously, times have changed, and that's why we're starting to see some of these higher lows. The biggest thing to remember is attention is still
higher
on
lows.
the stock. It's getting the volume and it's getting the attention. Okay. Now, one thing I do see is some of your technical day traders that are solely specifically for day trading, charts and technical analysis. Obviously, they're a little bit hesitant because of one, the market we're in, also the manipulation that's been behind it. You better believe that if these market makers get tripped over their feet like they did all the way back in June of last year, you're going to see them continue to pile on and move to the upside. Okay, so let's zoom in just a little bit, and then we're going to talk a little about FTX as you are
really
seeing a little of that technical breakout over the $7 level. That big one is going to be once we can get into this gap. All right, going all the way back to August when Aron had done the ape preferred dividend listing, and obviously overnight the rebalancing. It's as much as we don't like to say it's a fair market, it rebalanced very well, and ape has to get its valuation from somewhere, and that's why AMC took a little bit of the plummet. But let's talk a little bit about the entire cryptocurrency market. Okay, so Bitcoin's currently sitting at about 16.9 right now, off of a high of, I think it was like 67.5, 68,000. All right, when you take a look at this chart, you can see that it's just completely getting pummeled. All right, and you look at where it's really began to spike towards the end of that 2020. That's when that technicals aligned over that breakout with the fantasy money supply, and it just continued to rip even higher.
So he's not going to connect AMC and GameStop and that to the fantasy money supply.
In overall picture, okay,
that's disingenuous.
Stock market, which is they've really been correlated very closely lately. I've been saying that to a lot of people inside the group over the past 6 to 8 months. When you're seeing,
we'll see how that correlation holds
overnight, and especially over the weekends. A lot of time the markets will follow. Bitcoin was a little bit of a leading indicator. Okay, now it did get disconnected for a little bit of time, and it is starting to reconnect. Obviously, they have their own issues happening as of right now. But when you look at the entire cryptocurrency market, everything is getting pulled, and it's getting pulled very, very hard. Okay, now FTX had a lot of their own issues. Obviously, I'm not going to cover them. They've been all over the internet. A lot of them are going to, a lot of them, first of all, are really unknown. I think what is being, shared with us as the public, what is being reported on the media, I personally believe is only a very small amount. Reason being for this is because there was no regulation over a lot of things that not only this company has done, okay, but other companies have done as well. If this company has continued to collapse, such as other companies have already done, it's only a matter of time before it continues to trickle down. All right, chances are, if this company, okay, as well as there was other collapses, the collapse of Luna, okay, it's not just single-handedly to those two
Voyager,
participating
Celsius
market, members. All right, it's going to carry over, and a lot of things aren't going to be shared with us. We've seen that happen, inside the stock market, obviously, as the SEC, has their hands on it and still doesn't share a lot of this. But one thing I do want to point out is this, okay? I took this off of, a screenshot that was shared inside, the group, and it just goes over all of the big institutions
inside the
that
group.
have a massive stake in FTX. How is it going to affect them in the short term and the long term? Okay, will these people be able to recover even, and some of their money? Obviously, you have some angel investors, but a lot.
I don't see Citadel. Where's Citadel? Don't see them. BlackRock, Sequoia, Lux Capital Group, SB Investment Advisors, Institutional Venture Partners. I don't see Citadel. Coinbase, Third Point Ventures. Where do they come up with these names? Third Point Ventures. Senator Investment Group.
A lot of them are
no
big-time
Citadel
companies. We got, which we've talked about on this channel. Lightspeed, Tiger, which already had serious issues. Okay, BlackRock is on here. Okay, which BlackRock is a big position side inside of AMC. What is going to happen when they begin to pull out? Are they going to have to liquidate some of their big blue chip stocks? Is that going to affect, the entire
Not because they
market?
run funds.
What does that look like? Well, generally speaking, if a liquidation is going to occur in some of these, blue chip stocks, that's
I want
where
some
you're going
proof
to
that
see
people at
the market
BlackRock are
begin to pull
bullish on
back. I covered
AMC.
it in my last video, saying that this is still nothing but a bear market rally until it's not. Okay, until we can break over some of these technical levels and make a higher high, hold a higher high.
Probably not until we break
saying
below
that I
a few
mention all the
technical
time,
levels,
don't fight
Jeff.
the Fed. When the Fed stops, okay, when the macros change a little bit, obviously it's just going to
Where's the capitulation on that chart?
Morgan has also stated, okay, that their traders are selling this pop. They're going to continue to ride it, let it get up a little bit higher, continue to sell the pop. Now, these big institutions, if they have to liquidate their blue chips, if they have to liquidate their other risk on assets, okay, equities inside the stock market in order to cover some of their losses, in order to maintain their minimum liquidity requirements, it's going to cause the market to be able to pull. How does that affect AMC? Well, we have some upside and some downside, okay? And I really want to just be transparent for you guys. There's going to be some people in the comments that are saying like, oh, you're FUD because you're not saying that, listen, it's going to, squeeze to $10,000 tomorrow like some other people do. But I really try to just be as honest as I can. Okay, so obviously there is some upside and some downside. First of all, the downside is, well, clearly you look at this chart over the past, year and a half, it looks a little bit different, but you can still see it's trending to the downside with pretty much every other ticker out there. It's very few tickers that are holding up, okay, in the entire market. All right, so that is obviously to the downside. If the market does pull, AMC will be affected. However, because AMC is a net shorted stock rather than a net long stock, okay, from a bigger perspective, well, if funds come in and begin to close their positions as they have
net short,
much, I mean, how much lower can this continue to go? Obviously, there is a saying that, listen, what is low can always continue to go lower. However, the fundamentals have changed drastically from going back to 2020 when there was zero revenue, massive overhead that they had to pay their.
Well, you got revenue, but you don't have profit, so
bills on,
that's not changed.
A lot of that has changed, but it's going to continue to form a base from a technical level and from just a valuation level. Okay, a price earnings ratio and so forth. They paid off some of their debt. They restructured some of their debt. They have long-term plans moving forward. So as a net short holder, someone who needs to make liquidity requirements, getting out of their position, obviously will be beneficial for AMC. Solely a
Brilliant analysis.
that needs to happen. So just want to give you, like I said, a election, year
Okay.
that we
The futures open about 7 minutes, 6.5 or 7 minutes, somewhere around there. Let's see what we can find here. He has one that's how high can the squeeze go? Rico had a new video. Where's that? Big trouble. What's weird is that there's no finance news videos. It's so weird. Normally on a Sunday, they'd clog this shit up. You had a dozen fucking videos on there, but now I just have Benji.
And this is who judges Gary
Benji.
Gensler. They all deserve to be fired, TBH. Unusual Whales, as always, has done a good job of pointing out some interesting facts. So starting from the top, Senator David P's biggest stock purchase in February 2020 were Pfizer repeatedly buying it up to $260,000. 2 weeks later, the vaccine came out. He sold the majority of these in April. Another interesting example of these is on July 27th. Nancy and Paul Pelosi sold all.
What does this have to do with
were
anything?
Pfizer repeatedly buying it up to $260,000. 2 weeks.
Wait a minute. The Pfizer vaccine didn't come out in February 2020, or 2 weeks later. What? What are they talking about here? When did the Pfizer vaccine come out? It didn't come out in February 2020 or March 2020. Did it? That's when the virus started. Oh my God. Jesus Christ. Yeah, Pfizer was like November of 2020. What are they talking about here? 2 weeks later, there's Pfizer vaccine. He sold the what? February 2020. 2 weeks later. And this is Unusual Whales. I mean, a documented idiot. Been criticizing that idiot for 2 years almost. Looking at a daily chart here. I mean, none of that could be correct. February 2020, April 14th, February to April, February to April. Yeah, I don't think he sold for a profit there, fella. I mean, what in the fuck? How can they be so sloppy? I mean, this is the kind of shit that like nobody who stopped this video and actually looked at this. And like nobody, I'm sure. Nobody questions anything. Fuck
Later,
me.
the vaccine came out. He sold the majority of these in April. Another interesting example of these is on July 27th.
Benji surely
Paul
didn't.
Pelosi sold all 25,000 other shares in NVIDIA, was told to restrict chip sales in China and Russia by the U.S. government on August 26th. And what happened from there? NVIDIA is
Doesn't
down
seem like news. It
20%
seems like
since their initial sale.
something that they put together.
Moass, this is important, guys. Assuming there is still a stock market after, will you invest again? Not necessarily just AMC, but in general. Well, yes. The system is corrupt, but I'll probably dip a few of my tendies back in, and then the rest invest into rental properties, land, and some business ventures. What about y'all? So I want you guys to comment down below. In theory, post Moass if you come across a ton of money. What are some things that you believe in that you think are worthwhile to invest in? I personally think that this ape has some really good ideas, like rental properties, some land, some other businesses. But comment down below what you guys think. I wrote a suggestion to AMC investors.
Why?
Emailed at Aron.
Got to keep people occupied. Got to keep their minds engaged.
Storage to reduce running costs, electricity, provide other vehicle-related services, car wash, oil changes, etc.
Oh, look, more
Especially in the
business
parking lots
ideas.
at AMC, any thoughts? Let's ponder this. AMC has a large parking lot. Plus,
What?
average time spent in theaters is 2+ hours. With electric vehicles market booming in the US and other parts of the world, it'd be worth it to put electric chargers, preferably with solar panels, in the parking lots. Solar panels and battery energy storages can also help reduce the
Chargers with solar panels.
A tie-up with.
You know how many solar panels you would need to run one charger, or you need a shitload of batteries. So where are you going to put? I mean, Yeah, let's do oil changes in the AMC parking lot. That's a great idea. And why would you have oil changes anyway with electric car charging? Don't you see the problem there? God
A
damn, these
battery
people are
storage
so inept.
or solar energy provider would bring additional value and revenue. In addition, things like car washes, oil changes, small vehicle checks could be added. Most customers come with their cars and giving them one more reason like, hey, I do need an oil change or I need to wash my car. If you ask me, this sounds like a pretty
What?
interesting idea. Comment down below what you guys
Oh
think.
my God. What is this, like sixth fucking grade? All right, it's almost time. Whoops. Okay. Um, okay, well, we're getting close. Anyway, where's the clock? Where's the goddamn clock? And maybe we will pull in Tasty Trade, perhaps. And gapping down. Gapping down. I don't have anything here. That's weird. No sound. Oh, they don't have sound. That's the problem. Interesting. 1 second here. So I've got that's interesting. Well, I'm going to put them over into the lower right, DXY, but they don't have sound. Apparently that's on their end, according to their chat. That is odd. But hopefully the DXY value can still be seen because it gapped up to 107, 106, but we still don't have sound. Sound is fine. They don't have sound. They don't have sound. Some people do, some people don't, apparently. So for the first time, I agree with everything Tom is saying. There's no sound. Huh. Yeah, they have no sound. Wow, that's great. So is that. And it looks like they may have gotten me. Well, must have been a wide-scale internet hack. Might have to go to the backup server. Okay. Well, we tried hopping over to the backup server and it would not connect. So I'm not sure what's happening here. We appear to be having some technical problems. Not anything new at all. So apparently Tasty Trade's having problems too. But ES is back, so there we go. Kind of thought we would see a gap up. But of course now we're seeing, maybe we'll see a gap fill. Hi, Antoinette. What does FTX look like? The FTX token. You have to go to an exchange other than FTX. But oh, let's see, we got problems on screen here. I don't even know. Okay. FTX, FTT, $1.51. And it is still trading, by the way, at least on this exchange. This is the FTT tether on the BingX exchange. And we see some of the other futures here. The NASDAQ futures gap down. Same with the S&P futures, Russell futures, and Dow futures. So on the S&P, running well above the for, let's see, the last couple months, well above the value area high. Control point of control is way down here at 36, 88, 89 area. So it is overextended, my opinion. Let's look at a volume profile for the sessions and volume off there. So, of course, we have a naked POC level here, value area high and value area low from Friday and today. And then we have another naked POC going all the way back to September here that needs to be tested, as well as some other levels, but then also a naked POC from November 4th. So there's lots of levels, could be potentials, but anyway, that's on the S&P. Okay. So we'll let that do its thing here and continue with this narrative. Let's see. Okay, I got it. I got it. TMI.
For the longest time, people have been seen as crazy or the tinfoil hat type for having a theory that there was some sort of correlation between the cryptocurrency market, Bitcoin and such, and of course, highly sorted meme stocks. And for the longest time, even I thought to myself, maybe this is a bit of a reach. Then again, we did find some information this weekend that made us think twice about all those different perspectives and maybe validating some of them. If you have not yet, guys, smash the like button, engage with the video, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. First the intro, then the info.
No intro. Fuck your intro.
would be extremely painful.
I'll tell you an even more explicit signal. He pitched us in that $17 billion round, and I did a Zoom with him. And after the Zoom, I'm like, this doesn't make much sense, but I'll have my team do some work. We did some work, and we sent him a 2-page deck. And we said, here are our recommendations for taking the next step. One was the formation of a board. The second was the creation of dual class stock. The third was some reps and warranties around affiliated transactions and related party transactions. And the person that worked there called us back and literally, I'm not kidding you, said, go fuck yourself. Was quote unquote the response to us. We're like, okay. So that was the easy decision, but
message received.
Message received, but I still thought, okay, I'll just put that in the bucket of these guys are unbelievably arrogant and smug. But Brian, I thought what you thought, which is maybe it's because they've created some money-making machine in the Bahamas, and so they have that level of confidence. You know, but then to see this thing to the extent of which is now, we're only scratching the surface, guys. You know, we're going to find out stuff every day.
And today is just another day. What's going on, guys? I didn't really do the intro, so what's going on, guys? It's your boy TMI. I am the Masked Investor. Thank you guys very much for tuning in right now. No matter what time it is, no matter where you guys are, I do appreciate each and every single one of you guys for being here. Welcome back to the channel. If you have not yet, guys, smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell notification so you guys do get notified for videos just like this. And for those of you traders out there who are looking to make some money in the market and you also have a 9 to 5, feel free to click the link in the description below. So we do have a Discord. We do help people get through trades every single day, live call outs, watch lists, alerts to get in on different trades all the time.
1348 though.
Closing at the end of the month, so spots are limited.
I want my money back,
guys. So this video is going to be about
quick promised TMI
background behind FTX and people that are running it. A little bit from the competition, red flags that were raised from people that are, you know, looking on the outside, experienced people in the market, looking at FTX like this did not make sense to us. And I also want to speak to you guys about tokenized securities and the possible negative effect it could have had with several different highly short positions, i.e. AMC, GME, Bed Bath & Beyond. You know, you think it, I'm thinking it, we're all thinking it. We're going to play this bit by bit by bit. Again, if you have not yet, guys, engage with the video so we can get as many retail investors to see this as possible. So I'm gonna start things off by looking at a little bit more of the history, and then we're gonna go into the actual findings we have on social from other retail investors in the market. And I do have a few different examples I have ready to pull up. But let's start off with the fundamentals first, and then we'll go to the speculative, potentially very interesting data second. All right, here we go.
Hey, Tyler, thank you. And thank you, Brian, for joining us. We have been just in an avalanche of headlines, Brian, over the past several days around what appears to be the collapse of FTX. And given where you stand in this, it would be great to get your just perspective to start with what you're seeing. Did you expect this?
Well, I certainly didn't expect it. And this is a dark day for the customers who have lost funds in this apparent, you know, fraud. We don't know exactly what it is until all the facts are in. But I think there's a few things just as I zoom out here to think about. I mean, one is that, you know, FTX is really, it's not representative of every company in crypto. You know, compared to Coinbase, for instance, we've taken a very different strategy. We're based here in the United States. We're regulated. We have a New York trust company. We have a license from the CFTC. We have money transmission licenses, and we went public. And so we have publicly available audited financial statements. We don't own a market maker business. You know, we don't invest customer funds without their explicit direction. And so anyway, I think that's an important thing for people to realize in this environment is that not all companies in crypto are like this. And just like the traditional financial system occasionally has a company that goes bad, it is not representative of the whole.
Right. What do you think happened here?
Well, again, it's tough to speculate, you know, without being inside the firm. But what appears to have happened is that customer funds that were, you know, deposited in FTX were somehow made available into Alameda, their market maker, or more like hedge fund activity, and they took some risky positions, and the firm appears to be underwater. But again, I don't have any specific knowledge of what's actually happening, and this is what I've been able to gather from a brief couple of phone calls. You know, I did speak with SBF and CZ briefly during this process, and then just from speaking with outside participants.
Did you see red flags? Your venture arm took an investment in FTX, I believe, back in 2000.
I don't know how nobody could have seen red flags with this guy, to be honest. I want to pop over to something else here that I was watching earlier. This is pretty illuminating. There was an interview done on Bloomberg with Sam Bankman-Fried in September. Here it is, September 27th. And of course, now we have the benefit of hindsight, but um, just you know, I just want to highlight this because this is recent, fairly recent. Before all of this started happening, remember the FTX U.S. President Brett Harrison resigned on this day or right around this time in late September. So, but something,
Maturation of global crypto markets, both centralized.
I don't see how anybody could not get red flag vibes.
Sonali Bostic, thank you so much for
Personally.
the great breakdown. Now let's get to the man himself. Sam Bankman-Fried, founder and CEO of FTX, is joining us from the Bahamas for an exclusive interview. Sam, thank you so much for joining us once again. It's great to have you. Let's just start on the news of the day and the departure of Brett Harrison. What exactly is going on? How long has this been in the works, and where does it leave FTX US?
Yeah, I mean, it's not the kind of thing that, would go public were it not to have been, in the works for a little while. I'm excited about a pathway forward. I'm really excited about our leadership. And, ultimately, it's important that, we go in directions that we feel best in, and that he does as well. And really excited about our, upcoming, Miami headquarters.
Does it affect,
said nothing.
you think, your valuation? I know that CNBC has said you're looking to raise another $1 billion. Orlando Bravo in the FT said he's willing to invest further. Does this affect, the level at which investors are going to be willing to put more money in?
In which direction?
Well, down, because
like
if you want to stay at $32 billion, which I think was the valuation in January after the crash of Bitcoin and now this, it may make some investors skittish.
I mean, honestly, that's up for them to decide. I would be pretty surprised, and I would not want them as investors. So good riddance if that's what they think.
Well,
wow.
If we could just talk about kind of succession more broadly, though, because Brett Harrison's departure
I love
is
how
not the only noteworthy one we have seen
clearly
in crypto firms just in recent weeks. The Celsius CEO stepping down, obviously the bankruptcy at issue there, but Jesse Powell
it's
over
like
at Kraken, there
adults
has been a string
talking
of these
to a
departures.
child.
Are you thinking about your own plan, how
Wow.
long you plan to stay at the helm, and ultimately who is going to take your place when the day comes?
Really ominous, too.
I'm going to be here for the long term. I have no plans to leave. That is not something that is on my horizon. And, I would not be, spending a lot of my energy looking at succession planning that was not going to come into effect here. So.
All right. So what about, Sam, the valuation of the company? I mean, since January, you've grown, obviously. You have a much bigger footprint. You're arguably the most important person and company in crypto right now. On the other hand, the underlying assets have come down a lot in value, right? In January, we were already looking at 45,000, 40,000, 35,000, but now we're looking at 20 and sometimes flirting with a 17 handle.
It's a good question. And, I think I sort of agree with your take on it that, I think we've seen a lot of growth as a company in terms of market share and in terms of, what the scope of what we can do is. At the same time, you've seen just global risk assets sell off as the dollar strengthens. How do those cancel out? I don't know. They're pushing in opposite directions. And I think ultimately, you could imagine that those roughly cancel out. But, obviously, ultimately, we're going to have to see what the market decides.
Yeah, but as Matt has alluded to, the market has been difficult. How much harder has that made your fundraising efforts?
Oh, it's certainly the case that, venture capital is way less active right now in general. I mean, you go back to, a year ago, and there was more money looking to be deployed by venture capitalists than there were things to deploy it in. Like it was a bit of a free for all. And there was a lot of determination to, compete, to get investments, as in to get allocations for things to invest in. You look at the environment today, and it's very different. Like today, there is not a lot of capital being invested anywhere really in the financial ecosystem. Not so much because of interest rates themselves, as because of just a lot of uncertainty about which direction rates are going to be going in, about where they're going to end up, about what policy, the Fed's going to take, what policy.
He sounds pretty fucking clueless to me.
And so, I think that certainly has slowed down, general investment markets quite a bit.
You told our David Rubenstein that you'd had mixed results in terms of the acquisitions that you had done. A lot of people saw you as throwing a lifeline to the industry, so you weren't necessarily trying to make huge profits. That's what you said your mandate was to your team. How do you think you've fared now, and especially considering the situation at Voyager? You've gone in to pick up those assets. As you sort of do the tally on the back of your napkin there, how have you fared?
Yeah, and it's a good question, and I think that at the end of the day, like,
it's a good question. Every question is a good question.
Basically been our mandate has been to do okay deals here, to do deals that we feel okay with from a corporate perspective, and then to do what we can to backstop the ecosystem, to protect customers and to in the case of Voyager
customers,
get customers back their assets as possible rather than leaving them in limbo for a while. So I think that we're excited about where it's going, and more importantly, though, I think that we will hopefully be able to give a prompt resolution to customers, and that is the biggest piece of this.
Prompt resolution,
rather than seeing this primarily as a financial opportunity.
Well, Sam, obviously now that you have won the auction for these Voyager assets, it's just more tentacles, if you will, being spread throughout the crypto system as a whole. Do you worry that this is going?
So, fascinating interview. Check out the rest of it. Here's the link. But, wow. Okay, so now back to TMI.
For the last year or two, it appeared that this was a firm that was shooting to the moon at a time that you were competing with it. You know their numbers. You know your numbers.
It's a great question, by the way. This is exactly why I wanted to have this here.
Great question.
This is partly, I think, why so many people in crypto feel duped, and I do as well, is that I look back at all the interactions that I had with Sam, and, I felt like he was a very bright and genuine and eager person, perhaps a bit young. He's perhaps a bit reckless in certain moments, but not corrupt. And again, I hate to use that word because we don't know exactly what happened. Sometimes people, they get in over their heads, or misunderstandings happen, and so we should wait to reserve to see what happens. When all the facts are in. But the other thing, you mentioned the numbers.
I'll get back to that in a second after this is done playing.
I was aware of our revenue last year. We did $7 billion revenue and about $4 billion of positive EBITDA. And I was aware of their revenue just as an investor, which was more like around $1 billion. And I was surprised at how much cash that they seem to have, and Sam seemed to have, to go out and perform various investments in the market, both their ventures arm and buying 9% of Robinhood and various political donations. And I did wonder at times. I was thinking, where is all this cash coming from? And so, you always look back 2020 hindsight, but I certainly didn't feel anything enough to speak up. And so I was as surprised as anybody.
So a very interesting perspective from somebody who's in the industry, supposed to be an expert in the space, did see some red flags, but didn't quite catch on until, of course, it was too late and money was lost. But that's not even the most important thing in this video, guys. What I do want to get to next is, well, take a look at this, all right? Here we have a post that came from a guy called Samuel Clemens. And Samuel Clemens did send me a DM a while back. I went to go back to check and see if he did message me, and he did. He said, look when AMC crypto futures started. AMC's first run up before June. Now,
Samuel Clemens, aka Mark Twain. Okay, great. That's almost as good as Tyler Durden.
This is interesting because over the last few days here, I've seen some pretty interesting things, okay? One, take a look at GME short interest data that shot up just earlier on last week. The overall borrow shares changed. We're at 78 million. The borrow shares were 85 million. The net return was 7 million. The cost borrow was But nonetheless, this was just an issue, a spike issue with Ortex. The Ortex said, hey, you know what? It was a mistake, yada, yada, yada. Nothing's real here. Then last week on Thursday, I had AMC short interest data, and this was absolutely crazy simply because the cost to borrow shot through the roof. 314% for the cost to borrow max. That could just be one share. It's very possible. I'm gonna make sure I'm giving you guys all the information out there. Then we had the cost per average at 129%. That was up significantly. And as the average, it's huge. Then the cost to borrow minimum. Now, the reason why I'm looking at this cost to borrow like not as crazy is because there were only a certain amount of shares borrowed, which was 200 260,000 shares borrowed. It was not that many shares borrowed, to be honest. So if there was, let's say, 10 million shares borrowed, I think that would hold much more significance with the cost bar being that high than it being 263,000. It was high, but it wasn't as alarming as if there were a lot of shares borrowed. For example, going back again to GME really quickly, take a look at this. 85 million shares, according to Ortex at the time, were borrowed. Had we seen 85 million shares of AMC borrowed and the 300,
but they said that was a mistake.
I think this would have set off alarms across the market. That being said, AMC on Friday did have an absolutely amazing day. Now, the interesting thing is on Friday, the banks were also closed. So we didn't really get an update for the short interest data. I'm going to pull up AMC's short interest right here. This is a short interest with AMC on Friday, okay? It says NA because the banks were closed, so there was no reporting. Now, of course, you can still have reporting, but this is typically what happens historically speaking over the last 2 years. I've seen the same thing happen. Ortex has said, hey, on these semi-quasi holidays, it was Veterans Day, we're not really going to have the data being pulled, and that's just the way things are going to be. So really quickly, guys, shout out to all the veterans out there. Much love, much respect. Hopefully you had a great day. You know, all love to you and yours. Now, here's the interesting thing. Going back to the post we had on social media coming from Samuel Clemens.
Oh, yeah, tons.
Look at when the
Model
AMC crypto futures started.
We'll see that reflected in the numbers tomorrow and
here are
Tuesday.
all the different days, basically, that AMC had run-ups. March 26th was the original run-up. March, my
shares
grandmother passed
figures
away in March.
skyrocket.
The first run-up kicked off on her funeral. That's how I know it was in March, all right? RIP, my grandmother. The second one here, June 25th. You guys all know in June 2021, AMC had a huge run. September, we also had a decent sized run in September leading out of August. We also had another one that was in November, Thanksgiving of last year. But that being said,
futures,
that's when the
they mean
second
nothing.
stage of COVID came out. Right, that was the C19 second. I forget what it's called, but extended version, the more serious version of it. Right, and then we have
these can't be traded in the United States.
2022. We have June 2022 historically. We have September, December again 2022, and then we have December futures. This is all very interesting. Take a look at the following images from the other tweets he has in this list. Right, so here he has the dates. This is the March run up, and this is March 26th. The date almost as if it's at its peak and it starts to come back down. Then the next one he has. The June 25th date, almost when AMC's at its peak and starts to come back down.
Oh, it's almost like it's quarterly or something.
Is September 24th when AMC's almost at another peak and starts to come back down. The next one he has here is December 31st, 2021 with the futures
almost
dropping.
like it's
now,
quarterly.
The reason why this is very interesting is because it seems as if these tokenized securities were coming into the market at the same time as AMC's decline from huge run-ups. Which would lead people to believe that potentially some of these tokenized securities were used to either 1, short the stock, 2, they were used as collateral and derivative swaps to actually manipulate the stock, which would probably be.
Where's AMC Bigums when you need him?
Short and you want to see the market move down. 3, could they be used to locate shares, meaning that
sounds like something that he would
be
debunk.
significantly impacted by the fact that these tokenized securities were also seen as shares. Several of these things coming into play right now.
Swap expert.
Me go crazy. Do think there's a little bit of it that could potentially be far-fetched, and I don't want to get over there. I want to keep it as structurally, factually based as possible.
What? Wow, that was an abrupt ending. Want to keep it as factually, structurally, blah, blah, blah. Oh, it's over. What a clown. Oh, my God. Oh, okay. So we're going to push higher. We're going to go past where we were, where it closed on Friday. We're going to see a reversal at some point, probably. That's just my opinion. But in my opinion, what we would need to see, let's go back to the chart here. No, let's go back to 30 minutes, actually. And let's get that, and let's get back here. Okay, now, need to, so we'll probably run up somewhere in here. We'll see it come down. This retest, we come down. This is possible. So here are some targets possibly based on these volume profile levels. But this is one way to look at this. And of course, we have you know, some other possibilities here as well. Just something to look at, think about. Okay. Not a lot of new videos coming out. Somebody's got to be live right now, I would imagine, besides me. AMC Plus, pay to watch. Interesting. Where is everybody? Time to get drunk. Okay. Let's see what some of the other people are saying about
So
the
normally
FTX
I
thing.
have a script that I write out and I read off a teleprompter. I'm not doing that in this video because I'm pretty pissed. I'm very disappointed, very pissed off at these YouTube fluffers, these YouTube grifters who have been promoting FTX over the past year or so. And we know these guys were making hundreds of thousands of dollars. Tom Nash admitted to be making about 50 grand a month promoting FTX US. Jeremy Financial Education admitting to having a multiple six-figure deal to promote this company. And these guys have come out with videos being like, oh, I can't believe FTX is going under. But none of them initially, and we'll get into this, but none of them initially took any responsibility whatsoever for their involvement in promoting this crap company that potentially, you know, their subscribers got involved, put money into these exchanges that can no longer be removed. Potentially, you know, their customers lost millions of dollars collectively listening to the horrible advice of these YouTube fluffers that will do anything for a sponsorship. Now, initially, when the story broke that FTX was going under, apparently Binance was going to buy them to save them, and that has since fallen through. Binance has backed out of that deal because initially FTX was apparently like $2 billion in the hole, and then it came to light maybe they were $8 billion in the hole, and now some people are like they're like $15 or $20 billion in the red. So I completely understand why Binance backed out of that deal. They're not buying FTX, and earlier today FTX announced they are declaring bankruptcy. So they're done. They're completely out of the business now. They're pretty screwed. And all of these guys initially, before we knew FTX was declaring bankruptcy, all these guys made videos about how in a bad situation FTX was. And none of them, like I said, took any responsibility. Tom Nash, Jeremy Financial Education, Andre Jick all made videos, and their own audience started calling them out in the comments, being like, I can't believe you're not going to apologize. You promoted this crap to us. I got involved. I lost $20,000, people were saying in the comment section. They never apologized for any of it. Andre Jick specifically was going through his comments in his initial video, responding like, I never promoted FTX on my channel. I never promoted it. I never promoted it, over and over, right? And he was just constantly going down the list of having to defend himself because he talked about FTX and FTX multiple times on his channel. Now, what ended up happening was Graham Stephan made a video as well. And in Graham's video, I got to give him credit, right from the start, he apologized in his video, right? And he said, you know, I'm sorry that this happened. I'm not going to be promoting these types of companies in the future. But he also kind of had a backhanded way out where he was talking about how he never talked about FTX on his channel. He only talked about FTX US. Now, FTX US is a separate company, but it is owned by FTX. Now, because
How is that any better?
has now declared bankruptcy, FTX US is also going under as well. So 2 hours ago, the story broke that FTX US freezes crypto withdrawals, sending millions in assets into bankruptcy limbo.
Why would you think? Why would you not think that would happen?
FTX US. That doesn't hold any weight anymore because that company is now going under as well. And I also want to show you this clip from Tom Nash, who also, in his apology, Tom Nash and Andre Jick saw that Graham Stephan's response when he apologized worked much better than their initial videos. So both of them then came out with apology videos as well, but both of them also tried to downplay. Even though they were apologizing, they downplayed their involvement in the video. And I want to show you this clip from Tom Nash's video. And it's absolutely cringeworthy at this point now that we know that FTX US is also going down.
Number one, I was working solely with FTX US. That is not the company currently involved in liquidation proceedings. That's FTX.com. I have nothing to do with that company. I've never worked with them. I've never spoken to them. FTX US was the only company I work with, and they're 100% operational. You can buy, you can sell crypto, you can pull your money out, you can put your money in. Nothing is going on with FTX US. It's 100% absolutely fine.
Okay, so that was part of his apology video yesterday, talking about how he only promoted FTX US, and they're completely fine, guys, so don't worry about it. And as I just reported 2 hours ago, FTX US freezes all crypto withdrawals. So they are no longer 100% fine, Mr. Tom Nash, Mr. former KGB agent. That's a joke, by the way. But you're completely wrong, Tom, and you're not taking any responsibility.
Israeli security
people who put
forces.
their money into FTX US are now screwed, just like people who put their money into FTX. Now, the biggest offender in this whole situation, in my opinion, is actually Andrei Jik. Now, I've talked about Andrei in the past, and I said in the past I don't think he's as bad as Jeremy Financial Education or Tom Nash. I think he's just kind of stupid. He doesn't really know what he's talking about when it comes to the stock market, even though he acts like he does. I no longer think that. I now think that Andrei is a soulless individual who is just in it purely for money and will sell anyone down the river. Doesn't care if they go completely
Gasoline
bankrupt.
futures up
as
a couple
long as he
cents
can
here.
make money off of your dying
Oil
back,
up.
he does not care at all. He has been absolutely the worst in this whole situation. His initial
China,
video, like I said,
opening
didn't apologize
back
at
up.
all. And then in his new video, which he just released, where he actually does apologize, it's filled with a bunch of lies that we'll break down in this video. This guy is a complete moron. When you're going to apologize, there's two situations, right? If something bad happens about you, you can either A, not apologize and just completely never talk about something. That's one way to go about it. Or you can come clean and just completely apologize, not try and back out, not try and give yourself any way out of like, oh, well, you know, I wasn't really responsible. Just completely come free and apologize, right? Andrei Jik took the middle ground where he apologized, but at the same time is like, no, guys, you know, I don't really need to apologize, but, you know, I'm going to do it anyway. It's so effing bad what he did with these two videos. Now, before we get into the apology video,
Oh, dear. Sounds great. I forgot my password, so. Is that what we wanted to see there? Jack rapping? Yeah, so what's going on with that? I noticed this. Spencer Cornelia, who is a member of that YouTube finance agency or whatever that Chris Norland talked about. But so is Graham Stephan and Meet Kevin. So maybe he's not part of it anymore or something. Like, that's weird, odd. So I was kind of curious here.
Hey everyone, this
Chris
is
was
Chris.
saying.
Welcome back to the channel. So just want to add a little bit more info to the Spencer Cornelia and CoffeeZilla drama. If you don't know already, let me show you guys with this. A lot of the big finance YouTube creators
That's
are all
exactly
the
what I was
agency.
wanting to know.
So you can see this. This is Graham Stephan, Andrei Jik, Meet Kevin. You guys can find this called Creators Agency, easy to find. And I'm sure they're getting irritated with me doing these things, so I'm sure they'll change their website soon.
Probably.
Ryan, Minor Mindset, and then most importantly, Spencer Cornelia is on this. And the first time I made a video about them, Spencer actually wrote on my channel attacking me, and many of their content creators were coordinated attacks. And it's funny because they're coordinating now, defending each other. And this is sort of where Spencer is essentially throwing himself in front of the bus to protect his friends. Also, too, as confirmed by Scott Schaefer, I guess when the Meet Kevin DUI video came out, Spencer was with Meet Kevin when Meet Kevin got his DUI. Just to be clear on that. So they're all friends. I really, really don't like Meet Kevin. Spencer, my opinion of him is very low. Having the kind of friends that he hangs out with, I mean, it is what it is. And also now he's choosing to defend these people. So this is very relevant when they're all at the same agency. It is very relevant. The other thing is too is that it was interesting when three of them, Tom Nash is also at the agency. I mean, these guys, they're all at the same place. Tom Nash, Minority Mindset, and Graham Stephan all released apologies within like hours of each other. It was basically going from a script. And I put that video together to illustrate it. But anyone who saw any of these things, it was easy to see. And it just basically clowned themselves, you know, like, hey, let's all apologize the same way because we need to keep ourselves, you know, safe from liability. Also, too, it turns out that Jeremy Financial is also at the same agency. He put out an FTX video, doesn't apologize. I don't like Jeremy at all either. I mean, all these guys are clowns, and I mean, you look at these thumbnails. I mean, it's ridiculous that anyone listens to any people at all. That's why we have to make these videos to like put out some good information for people. But the point is that Jeremy Financial and Spencer Cornelia play the same defense for their buddies. The defense is, well, everyone else was doing it, therefore it's okay. Well, everyone else is running through the alligator pit, therefore I want to run through the alligator pit. Well, everyone else is greedy, therefore we should be greedy. That's the kind of defense that they're playing. And the reason why it's ridiculous is that it's simply not true. Not everyone is crazy greedy out there, and not everyone is pushing crypto. And I want to show you an email. I got this just a couple days ago. You guys can see this Friday, November 11th. I'm not just making random stuff up. And I show this stuff on my channel from time to time because, to be perfectly frank, guys, you have no idea. I get these kind of emails all the time, and I don't take these deals. Yes, if you're greedy, like these people, you take whatever deal and whatever money people throw your way because you're greedy. And also, too...
Your Ape Nation, what's happening? It's your boy Will. Back at you doing another video, and an important video at that. As I just get done talking about the sell-off in cryptos in my previous video a few hours ago, look at crypto.com coin, CRO coin. Right now it's down 24%.
My God.
Today alone, guys. We are about to see a mass exodus in crypto as all trustworthiness in these exchanges and platforms has went to shit because of the entire FTX debacle. So I'm in the process of moving some funds around, some coins around. Of course, I have to get them off my wallets and onto exchanges so I can sell them on the open market and stuff right now as we speak. Waiting for things to go through.
He's gonna lose all his money.
I'm about to sell off my portfolio, guys. I've made a decision to go ahead and do so. Thank God that I wasn't holding any CRO. I owned CRO for a short amount of time and sold it at a profit months and months ago when it had its run up. But hey, I mean, guys, look, this is what I've been talking about. People are selling off their CRO because they have lost faith in the crypto community as a whole, with the entire FTX debacle. So people are going to be getting out. This isn't the end. This is just the beginning. There's going to be a mass sell-off in all of these crypto assets. It's coming, guys, and it's already started, as you can see. That is a huge drop for any coin in one day, and it's not going to stop there. I can guarantee you that. So it's just funny how I just did a video talking about this, and here we are. Just so happened to look at the crypto charts for today and seeing this, I was like, wow. So yeah, and to add to this video, to squash this DRS shit once and for all, right? For all of these guys out here saying that DRS is going to stop the shorting in AMC, listen here, you fucking dickheads that don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I don't give a fuck if we DRS the flow of AMC 3 times over. There is something called short exempt volume. Research it, do your homework on it, and research the short exempt volume on AMC on a daily basis. Research that. So every order in the stock market has to be marked either long, short, or short exempt. Short exempt volume gives market makers the capability to short a stock for liquidity purposes. In other words, it gives them the authority to naked short any stock. They don't need to locate a share or any of that shit. Regardless
if
a stock is fucking locked up, they can still short a fucking stock because of short exempt volume, the biggest fucking scam on planet Earth. Those are the rules set.
Biggest scam on planet Earth.
Special authorities to fucking short something that doesn't fucking exist, which if I tried to do that, you tried to do that, we'll go to prison for the rest of our fucking lives. I can't sell a house that I don't fucking own. I can't.
Yeah, but you can turn around and buy it right afterwards, which is what they do. Otherwise you wouldn't be buying it.
Fucking sell a car that I don't fucking own, but they can
sell
at all. A stock short that they don't fucking.
Yeah, they can basically. I mean,
own or locate or borrow. So DRS is not going to stop the short selling of AMC. The short exempt volume is there for you to see, guys. So I want to kill this DRS shit once and for all. Now, I do not have a problem with people DRSing their shares. If you want to do that, then do it. I'm not with it. I'm not buying any new shares through DRS and none of that shit. If I can't sell my shit all at one time if I wanted to because of their $25,000 limit, get on the phone with them yourself and find out exactly what the hell I've been saying in my video talking about DRS. There's a $25K limit per transaction. So you can't sell more than $25,000 worth of AMC at a time. It's $25K. That's the limit.
What happens when the shares are 50,000 a piece?
That DRS shit once and for all.
How would you do that?
It's not going to stop the shorts from attacking our stocks. It's not going to stop it because we have something called short exempt volume.
Short exempt volume is not hedge funds shorting the stock, though. That's not what that is. That represents off-exchange transactions, retail buying volume, essentially. That's what the naked shorting is. So how ironic. I mean, really, they're bitching. He's bitching about this short exempt volume. It's supposedly a problem. It's supposedly how they're able to attack the stock. But in reality, short exempt volume represents retail investors buying the stock on payment for order flow brokerages. And through the mechanics of how that works, that volume is reported as short volume, short exempt volume. I mean, it's such an ironic misunderstanding. It's hilarious, really. I mean, you can't make this shit up. You really can't. You can't make this shit up. Wow. That's what I'm seeing there. Damn.
You don't ask where the money's coming from. You just push whatever crap on your followers, and then you pretend to be a financial guru.
Remember the words of Senator Clay Davis. I don't give a fuck where it comes from. Somebody giving away money.
This whole thing is a complete debacle for the agency, and that's why they're having all their content creators come out and defend each other. So it is what it is. But not everyone is greedy.
So he was defending the other ones.
So here's what this stuff looks like. Okay, so you guys don't know hybrid mode. That money got siphoned to these people, right? This is where the money went. Right? So they want to sign me to a flat rate deal, and again, this is from this is the rate each month, and you get money per action, and so you guys can see some of the details of this stuff. So you can look through this stuff. You can pause the screen if you like and lead it, but I'll just give you a general gist. So like you're looking at like, oh well, it might be $30 per person, $50 per person. If they trade a lot, maybe you get like 0.5%. You could get $1,000 per user. Like this just gives you a general sense of like the kind of money that's being thrown around. What would give you $25 and some sort of crow? I guess that's some sort of crypto, this kind of stuff. But there's a lot of money.
That's what we just looked at, right?
I'm very small, and I how can I?
Isn't that what we just looked at? CRO. Yeah, it was.
I don't have an agent to like negotiate on my behalf. for this kind of stuff. But I can just tell you guys, I worked in Hollywood, and in fact, true story, I actually do have a book agent, but I haven't written a book, although you never know in this future, and this is a whole other thing, but I completely understand how this stuff works. And also too, I at university, I would teach film finance, film industry. I teach business ethics, these kind of stuff. So like these kind of stuff is actually interesting to me to see what going rates are. And also just to share with you guys how the world really works. So that's why I like to share this stuff with you guys. I think it's important to understand how the world works. Now, the reason why I'm showing you stuff now is like...
Good to understand that.
I got this email on the 11th, or 10th or 11th, like just a couple days ago. And then suddenly, like now we're on November 13th. And look at this. Headline on crypto.com is, withdrawals rise after CEO admits transaction problems. So like, this is just like a few minutes ago. As I'm recording, this is like 20 minutes ago. Now it looks like there might be a bank run at crypto.com. So it's like, what is going on? This
crypto.com
is
left
because,
holdover from the dot-com bubble.
Or crypto crash of everyone, pulling their money out could all be happening, within minutes of each other, which is just unreal. And the other thing too, I really want to point out to you guys over and over again, please go to my channel. You can search FTX, right? And find some of these older videos.
So much for
from 4 months ago.
Inflation going down.
FTX Ponzi exposed from 4 months ago, and you can see that I was like talking about, yo, I don't like the Sam Bankman-Fried guy. Hey, yo, I think all these financial YouTuber people are on the take, and they're essentially scammy, not making this stuff up. And so this is sort of why I really want you to emphasize that, when these people come out and they make the same defense, oh, everyone was doing it. Oh, everyone was doing it. It's simply not true. And this idea also too, well, no one could have known. It's also simply not true. I knew. I was warning people about this stuff. And also too, I don't take this type of money. I don't feel.
Neither do I. Never been offered it, but I also don't take it. So there you go. Okay. So
a lot of finger pointing is happening right now as FTX crumbles, and we need to find out who to blame. Since I am the influencer who created T-Rex Inu in order to scam someone, I am the most qualified person to speak on this subject. The finance YouTubers who promoted FTX are under fire right now. They were paid money to promote a company that ultimately went bankrupt and caused customers to lose money. A lot of videos are attacking them. Are they to blame? There is one bad actor here. Sam Bankman-Fried is essentially a degenerate gambler who got greedy and lost. Everyone involved is now taking the blame for one man's actions. FTX had signed a 19-year deal with the Miami basketball arena for $135 million. It was set.
So he's blaming FTX.
They're doing it again, and everyone's eating it up again. Man, people are stupid. So this FTX stuff that's been going on, nothing to see here, folks. It's literally got the regurgitators jumping at the carrot on a stick yet again without any evidence for their claims. Let's go ahead and take a look. Now, if you go and you look into this FTX situation, you see circular reasoning all over the place. Now,
well, you don't say.
And by the way, here's a quick lesson for you. If you ever see a media narrative show up and then everyone under the sun adopt it and then post YouTube videos about it, it's likely bullshit. Because, again, the news media comes out with a new narrative and you search for it in Google and this comes up after searching for it, it's bullshit. Guaranteed. You know why? This is the same thumbnails that showed up for every other incorrect thing that people love to talk about.
Wow.
And we will be getting into some names on this one. And let's
not going to
take a
be
look
Scott
at
Allen.
So,
tell you that.
Upon further investigation into these videos, it's all coming from the same source. A tweet from none other than Mr. Peter R. Hahn, some rando idiot on Twitter who has no clue how financial markets work, yet alone costs to borrow. This guy spreads more FUD than anyone else I think I've seen on Twitter. Right?
Well, I think it's on this channel. Might have been on my last channel. Was on one of my channels. I called that motherfucker out directly. Peter Hahn. I think it might have been on my old channel. I can't remember. Did so many videos that I lost. Let's see, I don't think it is, but I called him out last year, Peter Hahn. We're talking about Peter Hahn, for misrepresenting the way that 13F filings work. So I knew pretty early that he was an idiot. And then it's just been, more nonsense the whole time.
Right up there next to Boss Blunts and the rest of these clowns pushing this FTX narrative about how they are short AMC. Well, if you're going to say shit like that, let's see some evidence for it. Let's look at the video real quick.
Let's see some data.
When I figured this out, I absolutely had to get it out there, but this is crazy. So here we have this tweet from Peter Hahn where it got me thinking.
Peter Hahn.
A lot of people are missing the connection between the FTX digital token and cost to borrow rate. So if we look at the cost to borrow...
Oh my God.
Yeah, so you saw that right. That whole video, the proof of AMC being, short from FTX was literally the same tweet from Peter Hahn, the guy who knows nothing about financial markets. Again, not evidence, people. None of this is evidence. FTX is not short AMC. There's zero evidence for it. And until someone finds evidence for it, I would stop talking about it because, again, you make yourself look ridiculous. But, again, of course it looks legitimate because you have people like Boss Blunts, people like Peter Hahn jump all over this narrative because that's how they make money.
When you have a situation where somebody named Boss Blunts has credibility in a community, I think you've jumped the shark.
The current narrative in the headlines, create a bunch of fun about it, and then make it sound good for AMC, like billions and billions of synthetics, which also don't exist. By the way, people, I don't know if you were following me last week, but I called AMC, the run. It did run. You're fucking welcome. I told you it's not going to be Moass. It's going to come back down. So this is how they keep trapping people, because idiots like Peter Hahn and Boss Blunts and User of Intellect, all these appeal to authority type figures
user of
who
intellect
really don't know shit, have to get their 2 cents in on all these topics. So please, someone out there, find me a credible source proving that FTX was short AMC and not FTX US, because again, you have to use the FTX. FTX US is also not short AMC, but let's go ahead and see some real evidence. Not a tweet from a worthless
Ken Griffin sold him bad meme paper.
Zero knowledge about.
That's what I understand. So Charlie, Ken Griffin sold bad meme paper to FTX. FTX got caught holding the bag, and they're out. That's basically
Financial
it.
markets, let alone
That's what we learned earlier.
Crypto markets. So again, really embarrassing, guys. When are we going to stop allowing these idiots, online panhandling salesmen, to sell you on these regurgitated narratives? By the way, one of the reasons why it crashed is they didn't charge fees or payment for order flow. So how are they going to make money? Something to think about. Also, I would never trust an FTX exchange that started during COVID, literally was a pump and dump, and then now customer funds are missing and it's wiped off the face of the planet. And again, the reason why this was not a surprise, and anyone that thinks this is some big crazy ordeal is entirely misled. Everyone knew FTX was dog shit and risky.
Really?
They used member funds very blatantly. This is not a secret. So again, this is just another example of medium and smaller players getting basically taken out of the competition because big old daddy BlackRock and Coinbase partnered with Aladdin back in August. Likely will be benefited from this quote unquote crash. But anyways, I think it doesn't matter either
Okay, that just took a really weird fucking turn.
way, because FTX was known dog shit before this narrative spilled all over the place. But wouldn't you know, I just think it's funny that every time something comes up like this, you see these YouTubers, Redditors, everyone on Twitter who has no clue what they're talking about jump all over this shit like white on rice, and it's just embarrassing, man. It's just embarrassing. I would hate to be on this team right now. It was cool being an ape in 2021 when we were actually doing shit, but now, holy shit,
what were you
you're
doing?
literally just chasing your tail around in circles.
Laid the groundwork
on top of Purple
for this
Donuts.
now.
And you have no evidence for any of these absurd claims that you make. So again, Boss Blunts,
Cardano
why don't
Summit.
you fucking prove something that you say to all your
Sounds
people?
like a good time.
You've been wrong on so many things. What happened to Market Crash 2022? What happened to Market Crash 2021? What happened to Marco Metzler? I mean, does no one care that these people have been feeding you bullshit for the last 2 years? They have made money off of the misinformation. And if that doesn't piss you off,
wow,
well then fuck. I guess I'm talking to a wall. But I'm likely doing that anyway. So anyways, FTX. It's nothing. Definitely not short AMC. No catalyst for anything. It's simply another part of the plan that you're missing because
another part of the plan.
Trying to look into the plan, you're getting sold bullshit by these idiots on YouTube. So yeah. What will the next one be? I mean, shit, the list goes on. Let's just make a list real quick. What did it start out?
Oh, I've done that.
It was Fidelity first in January. That was the big ordeal. You saw every YouTuber under the sun come out of nowhere. No options, buy and hold, 8 strong together.
Market crash, market recovery.
Steel day.
The token, or the,
we own
ape
the
dividend.
float, which is not possible. The shorts never covered, which, again, if you have a $1.2 billion volume candle, the shorts probably fucking covered. Sorry, but again, there's evidence for all these claims, but none against any of the claims coming from social media. Like, seller boxing, remember that?
Executive orders, Evergrande.
Remember that? Chad from AMC, remember that? What else? Log the float, remember that? DRS. None of this shit's worked. FTX, short AMC. None of it's going to work. Marco Metzler and his fake company in his fake lawsuit that no one ever bothered to follow up on. I mean, you got to start holding these people accountable. You can't just make me do it. I'm just one retard. But I've wrecked all this shit. And again, not one shred of evidence for any of this stuff.
Whoops.
Now, I get it. Everyone thinks that, the world's going to be doom and gloom and everything's going to go to shit soon. That's what they want you to think, so you'll keep chasing these fucking narratives. But in reality, I think the future's looking pretty good. But you just have to, look in the right places.
What they want you to think.
But yeah, all this shit, bro, literally just selling your ass.
Go.
You got sold on misinfo after misinfo after misinfo after misinfo. It was no secret FTX was dog shit. The safest exchange to be on is Coinbase, obviously. They're backed by the biggest
DTCC regulations, SEC investigations, NFT marketplace, popcorn sales.
BlackRock didn't have all that.
Market crash, market recovery, lawsuits, GME split.
Shit. And now on top of that,
options gamma.
Eat up the Sunday.
Pandemic reopening
from these idiots.
Buy a gold mine. Box office.
Again, you'll probably
FTDs,
only hear this
not selling.
spin on this
share,
from me because
DRS.
it's the reality, people. Sorry. Hey, Peter Han, bro, do you know anything about anything? If you do, please
Phase 6,
prove it.
T90.
You, sir, you're just retarded, man, and not the good way. Let's just read this real quick. When you borrow shares to short, your broker has to claim they can locate. Okay, for retail, if some stupid crypto exchange says they have 400 million AMC shares, then maybe the broker claims they can easily find. That doesn't even make sense, bro. But this is proof to all these YouTubers, proof enough to show you and sell you, and a lot of people buy it, but it's just embarrassing, man. This is not proof. This is an idiot online saying shit to get your attention. Anyways, have a good one.
An idiot who claims to be a financial advisor of some kind in Canada. Go figure. Wow. Holy shit. Margin calls are coming. Oh, man. What an obvious... I mean... Really? Really? Oh my God.
Gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. This crypto fiasco.
He's wearing a Sunday best too.
Over the last really couple of months is really putting hedge funds in a bad position, because
is there any evidence for that?
On one hand, crypto was this great, call it dark entity to make a lot of money, and these exchanges were blowing up. They were doing well. If you invested in crypto, it was seen as a very smart idea. And the problem is hedge funds can invest.
When was that? When was it a smart idea? Oh, you thought we knew margin calls were coming? I mean, I must be on cough medicine still or something. I didn't realize that. Margin calls were. Yeah, you're right. I just WGBSFR. LFG, y'all.
Whatever they want. Hedge funds can buy art, they can buy coins, they can buy currencies, they can buy cryptos, they can buy houses, they can buy stocks, bonds, options, they can buy whatever the hell they wanted to. And crypto has a lot of leverage to it. So when these players are starting to go BK, like even FTX, all bets are off. Anyone can be next. And this is going to dig a deep hole in the crypto markets. At the peak of crypto value, all combined cryptos were worth over $3
about back up to where
now
closed.
they stand at about $800 billion. So they have lost well over 60% of their value. And what do we know about margin calls? When you lose over 50%, that's when the margin calls really start to happen. So hedge funds are in a very bad predicament right now. And how does this help AMC? Let's dive into it here in this video. So let's get into it, guys. FTX, I'm sure you guys know the situation here. FTX,
yeah, we know it.
Bankman-Fried was basically bailing everyone out with
bankrupt fraud
dollars of client funds missing at FTX. FTX founder Bankman-Fried just vanished into thin air, and it does say a large portion of that total has since disappeared. They said one source put the missing K.
Oh yeah, disappearing
crypto exchanges to.
Well, how about that blockchain and its transparency? Boy, no crime possible on the blockchain.
Show their own proof of
completely
funds,
safe.
Like buying a house, right? You got to show proof of funds. You can't even make an offer without sending in the proof of funds with that offer, right? A real estate offer is like 4 to 5 different things. You got to have a bunch of stuff. Well, crypto has not been that way. You could basically deposit your money with anyone and they could have $0 in assets. You could have zero security that your money is.
That would be pretty scammy. Robinhood and Coinbase having exposure still possibly. AMC ApeCoin, yeah. Meme investors own tons of Shiba, Dogecoin, and other shit coins. They forced AA to invest in NFTs and accept crypto. Now crypto crash is going to help AMC. Yeah, pretty much.
Is there
that's funny
at all. So what's this situation with crypto.com accidentally sending 400 million in Ethereum to wrong address? CEO calls concerns FUD. And what it says right here is that after the shocking collapse of FTX, other centralized crypto exchanges.
Well, Charlie said it wasn't shocking.
And crypto.com customers are
Charlie said that everybody knew FTX was shit. So I don't know which is it, shocking or
CEO Chris to a public
yeah.
Essentially, they're just swapping money around just to prove that they had money at the time. So basis. The stock market has started to rally a little bit, and hedge funds have been off sides of this rally just to get back to neutral, where hedge funds don't have more short positions than long positions. It's going to take days, if not weeks, to get to that point. And every day the rally keeps going higher. Hedge funds are losing more dollar for dollar than they are gaining because of those short positions. And if you guys haven't noticed, the crypto markets are not really playing along with the rally that we are seeing in the stock market, in which I think a lot of hedge funds hoped that that would happen. So as AMC specifically,
how does he know so much about what hedge funds are doing?
As AMC continues to rally, in which I think it will in this upcoming week, it puts a lot of pressure on hedge funds with short positions that have a lot of exposure in crypto. And the real problem with crypto is the leverage that you can get is absolutely insane, because nothing is transparent, right? You could say an amount that you have or whatever. FTX was worth $32 billion. The next day it's worth $1 and in bankruptcy, right? That's a big problem. And when hedge funds are leveraging out in the way that they are, once they actually do get a margin call or need to post additional collateral on a position, such as an AMC short position, that becomes a big problem. Or hedge funds that have positioning in crypto also having short positions in AMC, once they gotta get that collateral, if
gotta make that connection,
you know, they have to cover on their short positions to get their collateral back to basically uphold their crypto positions, that is going to be a big problem for them.
Wouldn't
so
they just
the deeper this
liquidate
shit
them?
goes in crypto,
I don't
the
know.
worse this gets, the better odds of seeing margin calls happening in AMC. That also gets better. But also just releasing that collateral, just shorts covering in general to release that collateral becomes a lot more likely and begins to make a lot more sense. Now, as far as AMC, where
well,
we
that's a
currently
matter
sit,
of opinion.
the short interest that we can prove is sitting at 20.5%. The free flow out on loan sitting at 36%. Shares
Lose
out
new
on loan,
videos. Turns the camera
186.40.
off because he's filming in a halfway house. Oh boy, that sounds more interesting than the creative investor. Because goddamn, that is some dumb shit. Okay.
Good morning, my little Sunday motherfuckers. Anyway, listen, I'm chiming in now. Yeah, it's still black screen. I got some guests over and stuff like that. Sunday
guests
morning,
over.
Bravo brunch type stuff. Let me just chime in on something because
Got some
this
guests
FTX
over.
shit is. You guys got to step back for 1 second. You had Wall Street celebrating that the inflation wasn't as bad as they expected, just by a slight amount, so the markets were up. And people are like, yeah, it's green. You dumb motherfuckers. Anyway, listen, this whole nonsense is going on. Talk about bizarro world. You got green in the market while the biggest catastrophe has happened. I'm not going to go into the whole thing, the crypto space. When it was rising, nobody gave a fuck. This motherfucker was giving loans out to his affiliate hedge fund on bad calls down the line. He's like the kiss of death. This motherfucker was like the piano boy. Everything he touched went to shit. And at the end of the day, there's some other bullshit behind the scenes. I'm not going to get into that because the channel will get clipped. But technically speaking, at the end of the day, he's one of these motherfucking, communist fucking, suck a dick for fucking the liberation of barista type motherfuckers. So anyway, we're one of the, think about this. I want you to think about this. The greatest financial catastrophe that has ever happened on the street was created by a fucking MIT college campus fucking sneaker wearing, almond milk drinking socialist that tends to lean where? Not right, but where? Left. I'm not going to get into that anymore. Just let you know, those motherfuckers brought this to everybody. But here's the thing that's
talking
crazy.
about?
The market, I am telling you now, the people, the young motherfuckers in the market, the old motherfuckers understand what this is. The young ones, they don't understand. So these hedge funds, they got these like hot shots. They're like, yeah, this is going to be great. They're anticipating they're still going to be able to be green and everything is going to be good. Motherfuckers, you fucking are going to taste the dick of death very soon. Because what is coming is some unholy shit. I've been doing numbers all night long, back and forth, how this ties, where this spills over, where can this be the next. Listen, Binance, crypto.com is definitely the next one. You got companies now that out there that, let me tell you something, that had nothing to do in the financial space, but they were like, we're only accepting crypto for payments. Those motherfuckers are fucked. People don't even know to the magnitude, and let me tell you something, you can't bail this shit out. You can't bail it out without breaking the system. Now relax, you're in the short position, you're a contrarian, just like me in 2008. I was contrarian to the market. You guys are contrarian to the market now. So obviously those motherfuckers collapse, you make money. That being said, I'm trying to tell you right now, from what I'm looking at right now, from my best guesstimation, this was something that got out of control. I think that this popped before they wanted it to pop, as far as like the whole, crypto bubble collapse, market, great reset, whatever. And I think they have no fucking idea how they're going to control this. So I'm just telling you, based on everything I'm telling you right now, is nobody knows how to navigate their way out of this because nobody knows how bad this is. And I just want to tell you something. The hot shots on Wall Street, you motherfuckers, you're gonna see what it's like to manage a fucking fund during fucking real chaos. Because what you've had for the last couple of years where you could do no wrong because liquidity was always there, that motherfucker, that's memories of the time you were something special, but that shit ain't happening no more. Now, get ready, motherfuckers. This is survival of the fucking fittest coming here. So, going into tomorrow, please check your margin accounts, and if you want the margin, keep a margin. If you want them cash, switch them to cash. But remember, if you have margin accounts, make sure you don't owe any money on them. And if you do owe some money on them, bump them up a little bit so you don't get that, that little message at 3 o'clock in the morning. If you have a cash account and you didn't want it to be a margin, let's say you found those margin, switch it over. Let me tell you something. This is so fucked up because the market is going in all different types of direction. Oh my God, there's such bargains now. Time to buy. This is not the bottom by a long shot, but we're going there. So hang tight, my little motherfuckers. I will be around. And just remember, almond milk created all of this. And your vote, it doesn't matter anymore. I'm sorry. America is fucking cooked. It's done. Listen, let me tell you something. Soon your local postman is going to be sucking dick for a living. This is the type of event that makes governments irrelevant. Understand what I'm trying to tell you. This is chain reaction shit. So, just want to tell you, what are they going to do to shore this up? Give you a nice pep rally speech, lower the interest rate by a quarter point? Give me a fucking break. This is that event. Let me tell you something. Many moons ago, I remember Graveyard told me when he was can't even fucking say this properly, but when he was a kid, during the Great Depression, he was walking down Broadway, and in New York, restaurants are all like storefront, like the glass. They're not in malls and shit like that, but it's just glass face. And he was a kid. He was hungry, but he saw inside, and he saw a family eating dinner, lunch, whatever it may be, but they were eating at the restaurant. He was hungry. He was a kid during the Great Depression. So the people inside had money, but obviously Graveyard and his family didn't. Years later, he told me that's why he would never eat in a restaurant up close by the window. He always sat in the back. He said, because there's always a hungry person walking by. Let me tell you something. He always told me there will come an event that will trigger something that's not fixable. This is the trigger, and I don't think this is fixable. Let me tell you something. Just remember who did this to you, okay? But we're going to survive this, motherfucker. Stay tuned. Fuck CNN. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. Because at the end of the day, this is the ultimate position to be in right now. Contrarian to the shorts, and all together as one big family to ride this shit out. So, giant love, motherfuckers, and I'll be talking to you very soon. Happy Sunday.
Wow. Okay. Wow. Why are you hiding in the dark? Somebody Black Blue's eye. That's why we don't use the camera. Getting our ass kicked too much here. Yeah. So we got everybody's jumping on the bandwagon now. Let's go a different direction.
What's up, everybody? It's the Common Sense Investor coming at you with another
video. Dude?
In this video, we're going to talk about Stock Tracker. We're going to talk about Ortex. We're going to talk about cost to borrow. We're going to talk about utilization. Boy, we're going to cover a lot, and I'm going to try to do it in just as quick as I can for y'all so you can get on with your Sunday. This is important information that you need to know starting now, leading into tomorrow, just in case we have the run-up. All right? Now, Stocko Tracker. I did a video 3 months ago. Go to my library, check it out. Who owns Stocko Tracker? And I was talking to the YouTubers who use Stocko Tracker and the data from Stocko Tracker, and I asked them, who owns Stocko Tracker? I don't know. Well, how do you know? If you don't know, how do you know Kenny don't own Stocko Tracker? Fair question, right? I mean, if you're going to quote a source, should you not know the source origin? Well, Stocko Tracker's been in our community now since the beginning, and I've always held it sus, all right? I never really go to it for any information, just whenever it's brought up, and I'll shoot over there to check it. But the only good thing Stocko Tracker is good for is this section right here called the trading volume and how it moves throughout every 30 minutes, all right? But you can find out the stock's price, what the SSR is, that's the short when they turn it off to where they can't short, okay? And that's what it is in the other countries' denomination. And the options, if it goes to 8, how many options will come into money, shorts available, and the short interest, okay? Trading volume, borrowed shares. Let's stop right there and talk about this for a minute. Oh, wait a minute, let's see. We may want to start up here. Yeah, let's start up here. Now, this section is where a lot of people like to talk about, okay? The shares that are available to borrow, all right? Now, it's liable to fluctuate right here. It was at 6,000, and then somebody returned 4,000 shares, and then somebody borrowed 1,000 shares, and then somebody borrowed 9,000 shares. Now, when they did these transactions, it was at 44.5% interest to borrow those shares, okay? So when they borrowed, or when they returned 4,000 shares, they was able to get this 44.5% off their ass. You understand? They had 4,000 shares they were paying 44.5% for. They no longer had to pay that. They sent that back. Now there's 10,000, and the interest on that is 44.5%. I know y'all know this, but just bear with me, okay? And you're going to understand at the end of the video, is that now it's at 44.5% to borrow. And there's 10,000 shares. And 1,000 shares is missing now. So that means somebody borrowed 1,000 shares at 44.5%. Then there was 9,000%. The next time we see it's 0%. Somebody borrowed 9,000 shares at 44.5%. See how that works? Now, here's the thing. Go over to Ortex. Ortex tells you the utilization is 100%. It's been 100% for 3 or 4 months now. What does utilization mean? Utilization means there's no shares to borrow. Well, wait a minute. If there's no shares to borrow, well, then how is Stocko Tracker telling you there's 10,000, 9,000, 6,000?
Probably because they're
1 million, 7 million.
Reborrowed the same day.
Some get sent back. Some more get loaned out. More get sent back. Some more. See? Somebody is lying. Stocko Tracker, who is saying their shares available to be borrowed and gives a fee that they're borrowing it under. Or Ortex, who says there's no shares to borrow.
But Ortex still shows shares being
wrong.
borrowed every day.
Now, I've noticed a lot that a lot of shit has went out towards Ortex, and I give Ortex shit too. I don't believe that 85% self-reported type shit. Come on, man. We'll talk about that in a little while, maybe in the next video. But in this video, we're focusing on Stocko Tracker.
It only comes from interactive brokers.
Stocko Tracker.
It says it right on the bottom of the page.
Information and data.
I do. I have since last year.
If it's gospel. It's as if God...
I asked last year who ran the site.
And started this website for the apes. No. I don't know who runs Stocko Tracker. I got it going on over here in my Discord. And Sammy D finds this. Stocko Tracker is an internet device created by an unknown developer who says he sincerely likes stocks. He has attracted plenty of interest from the so-called meme stock buyers on Reddit, Twitter, and YouTube, which includes people who define the tracker as a laugh website created for apes through apes. It's an unknown developer created this site. Yet every day people come over here and their emotions, and that's the key to it all. Your emotions get tied to this kind of site. And it says that you're excited when there's no shares to borrow, but then when 7 million shares show back up, what do? You get mad and you go, now how is that possible? See how your emotions get into it. This is what this site is for. It's to pull your emotions. Now here's the fact, people. There are no shares to borrow. Stock Tracker should be listing 0 for the last 4 months or 5 months, just like Ortex.
But Ortex shows.
So why do we check this?
Borrowed and returned shares every day.
You might as well call Citadel and ask them how many shares are there to borrow. And Citadel go, we got 3 million shares to borrow. How do you got 3 million shares to borrow? We just do. And then an hour later, there's no shares to borrow. And then 2 hours later, there's another million shares to borrow. So, people, the reason I'm bringing this up right now, and I'm going to kill because I see I'm at 7 minutes.
I mean, he
going into this squeeze, this is the most detrimental time for me and you. This is a time when you have got to put a gate up in your mind to stop the FUD, because they are going to be coming hard to be convincing you that the squeeze is over. And one way that I could think that they would try to do that is if the shares to borrow was to start going up to 1 million, 3 million, 7 million, 25 million, 100 million. How do you have that many shares to borrow? Because they're being returned. But that might not necessarily be the case, because you can't trust the source that creates the data for this site. So you cannot use this site to gauge when the squeeze will be over, which is the point. Now, with that said, got to go back next door. Dad wants fudge. It's getting cold. So a friend of mine's come over. We're going to go cook some fudge for him. Love y'all. Be blessed. See you in the next video. It's going to be about...
Stop the FUD. What is cooking fudge a euphemism for, by the way? I don't know. I don't know. John McAfee's going to get you. All right. Got to cook that fudge. Make sure that you have stock lending on. Definitely want to have that on these days. Yep. Let's see. AMC earnings. He hasn't done a video in 4 days. Here we go.
What's up, Ape Nation? What's up, retail investors? How we doing today?
I know you gotta do this for midterms. We know what's up.
Big shout out to Phil For Real for that awesome video and the song. Everybody.
Oh yeah.
I'm Marcel Klunovic, Butcher Wall Street. This is gonna be a fast one. We're gonna get right into it. Here's what's going on. Thanks to Roy Jenkins here on Twitter for some of this information. We've got a lot of people that have been working together in the retail investor community and have come up with some incredibly good details on FTX and why the token securities on FTX and Bitrex, basically,
Here it is.
Are the equivalent of billions of synthetic shares.
Billions of synthetic
CM
shares.
Equity
Here
is
it
required to
is.
hold 400 million shares of AMC to back the tokenized stock. The problem is there's only 513 million shares of AMC on the float. And that being said, retail owns 85% of them. We already know this because it's been proven to us via share counts by AMC that Adam Aron and AMC have done multiple times. I think they've done 3 share counts so far. And it's come to light that there are over 4 million people invested in AMC, and we own over 85% of the 513 million share float. But if we have 85% of the 513 million shares, then institutions own another 28% of that, and then ETFs own another 5% of that, and the short interest is another 20% of that, where do these 400 million shares come from? For those of you that don't understand, what are tokenized stocks? Tokenized stocks are equities that are traded on traditional regulated exchanges. I'm sorry. Equities are stocks that are traded on traditional regulated exchanges. FTX tokenized stocks are select.
What the fuck? Shouldn't have smoked that extra blunt.
These spot tokens are backed by shares of the underlying asset, and that underlying asset in this case is AMC. They are custodied by CM Equity. They can be redeemed by CM Equity for the underlying shares if desired. CM Equity needs to have shares to back each token with a 1-to-1 ratio. 400 million AMC tokens are currently in existence with a market cap of $15.176 billion. How is CM Equity currently in possession of 400 million shares if we own 85% of the 513 million shares?
That's a good question, boss. Good question.
By that logic, there would only be 113 million shares left on the market, not including short interest, not including institutions, not including exchange-traded funds.
Wow, he doesn't get
synthetic shares.
He doesn't get short interest as a percentage of the float. Why would you add 8? That makes no sense. His math, what he's adding together, makes no sense.
CM Equity is a fully regulated company in Germany, and they're a licensed financial institution permitted to offer these products. FTX users who trade tokenized stocks may have also become customers of CM Equity as a pass-through compliance, basically. All trading activity is monitored by them, and they're custodies of these equities at a third-party brokerage firm. CM Equity provides the brokerage services. Yet they provide, their order execution doesn't really make any sense. And what I'm getting at is that I don't really think they ever owned these 400 million shares. Just in the same way that Sam Bankman-Fried
You don't think
been,
so? So you got some good proof here, but you don't think so. Well, I thought we were going to have some proof.
Basically showing the fact that these companies are completely bankrupt, and we'll get to that here shortly. It's the same thing here. Like, they never owned these assets. They're just printing money out of thin air and saying that they owned them. One of the most important points is that depending on the exchange, a tokenized stock may or may not have collateral behind it. However, in this case, the tokenized stock without collateral is a synthetic security that the crypto exchange or intermediary writes into existence on a blockchain somewhere without actually owning it. Moving on. Yesterday at close, AMC average cost to borrow is 157%. Their maximum cost to borrow was 344.82%.
Cost to borrow again.
An increase of 400,000. There was 400,000 returned shares, 2.4 million borrowed for a borrow change of 2 million additional shares. Even still, that happened yesterday. AMC went up 19.9%.
Well, I have to interrupt this for an important data dump from Al from Boston live.
Tokenized shares. I'm talking GameStop here for a moment, but still, they also launched AMC tokenized shares and many others on January 28th, 2021. Look at this date. This is the date that they introduced it. It was the date that broker-dealers pulled the buy button. They needed to do this in order to create synthetics to give them something to buy. This allowed them to reduce the price. Meanwhile, retail investors could not buy or sell any of them. They could not buy any more GameStop, AMC, or KOHS because those 3 tickers were pulled from their, basically the buy button was pulled away from them, allowing them to only hold or sell. A lot of people freaked out. Some people sold. They paper-handed like bitches. Some people made a lot of money, and then they bought back in. Some people made a lot of money and never came back. However, based on the numbers and the on-balance volume, it seems that
on-balance volume
never fucking sold. They continue to hold because they know
it's obvious. It's obviously wrong, boss.
This right here on January 28th, 2021, being the date that Bitrex allowed people to buy, sell, and trade GameStop via their tokenized securities with no actual collateral behind them, is literally a derivatives market in crypto that doesn't have any collateral behind it, even though they're supposed to.
You didn't show
These
that.
are Sam Bankman-Fried's investments. All of these companies here, from 3 Commas all the way through Embed Financial, BlockFi, Ledger Prime, all the way down to Yuga Labs, are investments and acquisitions owned by Alameda, FTX, FTX US, and FTX Ventures. And as of today, 134 of FTX's firms filed for bankruptcy. All of the Alamedas here, B Payments, Pesa, Block Holdings, Blue Ridge, Cardinal, etc., etc. CM Equity AG. See these assholes right here? CM Equity AG. These are the same assholes that we were just talking about that are supposed to hold these shares of GameStop and AMC in their tokenized stock. That being the case, as you can see, there are many of them, FTX, Ledger Prime, etc., etc. 134 companies are now bankrupt. This equates $50 billion. $50 billion in the stock market, okay, that is being wiped out, if not more.
In the stock market? Or are those aren't all
That
publicly
is much
traded?
bigger than Lehman Brothers. Lehman Brothers was around $25 billion, I believe, $23 billion, and FTX is more than double that. FTX is way more than double that now.
FTX is not publicly traded, my friend.
Make sure you guys can all hear me. Okay, very good. All right, moving on. Aside from the
private equity
million shares on FTX, sorry, excuse me here. Make sure I give you the right one. 410 on FTX. BitREx has 615 million more shares of AMC, or at least they're supposed to. So if there's only supposed to be 513 million shares of AMC, retail owns 85% of those, institutions own 28% of those, short interest in 20% of that, ETFs own another 5% of that. Where do these 410 plus 615 million shares? That's over 1 billion shares of AMC that are supposed to be backing these tokenized stock. 615 million on BitREx, 410 million on FTX. Tell me again it's impossible for synthetic shares to exist, Charlie Gasparino. You're a fucking moron. As you can see here, the total supply of AMC on BitREx is 625,383,604, but only 513 million exist, of which we own 85%. As you can see here, BitREx globally new listed
pretty
stocks.
Compelling, isn't
GameStop, AMC, BlackBerry, Nokia, and SLV, iShares Silver's Trust. What does that tell you guys? They're printing money, and they never owned the collateral to begin with. Therefore, they owe a lot of money, 50 billion plus, to a lot of different companies, prime brokers, banks, and investors around the world. This is going to be a cascading effect of domino effect, cascading effect of margin calls and bankruptcies, ladies and gentlemen. Crypto exchanges, equities markets like stocks and such are going to explode, and they're going to collapse. And you're going to have stocks that have had shares sold, not yet purchased. Well, they're going to have to go and fetch them at whatever price.
Oh, you think
now,
so,
BlockFi, in my opinion, is the next on the chopping block. They said yesterday, we are shocked and dismayed by the news regarding FTX and Alameda. Given the lack of clarity, we are not able to operate business as usual. Until there is further clarity, we are limiting platform activity, including pausing client withdrawals as allowed and under our terms. We will share more specifics as soon as possible. We request that clients
printing money,
BlockFi wallet or interest accounts. We intend to communicate frequently, but anticipate that this will be less frequent than what our clients and other stakeholders are used to, because they're going fucking bankrupt too. I'm not a financial advisor, and none of this is financial advice.
All right, good.
No, I don't actually believe that FTX owns these 400 million shares. I don't believe that BitREx owns the 615 million shares that they say they're supposed to own. That's over 1 billion shares when only 513 million exist. But they had no choice but to create these tokenized securities in order to prevent the price of these stocks from exploding and getting out of control. There's a lot of information here about FTX and Sam Bankman.
This shit doesn't even trade in the U.S. It doesn't even trade in the U.S.
And there's allegations that he was involved in money laundering, theft, fraud, and violations of federal and state securities laws. And this gentleman filed with the SEC on September 10th of 2021, claiming that the SEC is not listening to his complaints about Sam Bankman-Fried. Meanwhile, they're meeting with SBF and discussing getting FTX regulations. I won't really go into this too much, but they allege that FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried was involved in money laundering, theft, fraud, and violations of federal and state laws. They had a cover protocol of $100 million theft goes. They never listed the real names on any of the projects. Sam and his lawyer, Dan, gave this gentleman the cover protocol team information he has, but they refused. Every crypto company should be moving on. They have this $100 million safe token cover protocol investor theft of SBF, Sam Bankman-Fried. Well, he was an advisor. This guy stated that he lost hundreds of thousands in safe token profits because of the rug pull theft. He was able to settle for 1 Bitcoin. And he said, what really bothers me is the only way Sam, SBF, and FTX would settle is if they controlled the settlement narrative, wherein the FTX lawyer had him sign an employment contract for 30 days. And instead of a settlement NDA, they paid him 1 Bitcoin, and they never hired him to do anything within 30 days. Therefore, they filed a lawsuit that was settled out of court with the plaintiff, but FTX and SBF once again controlled the lawsuit settlement narrative, paid the plaintiff out of court, then published posts that stated the lawsuit was frivolous and thrown out of court, which it was not. FTX and Sam Bankman-Fried is and were involved in money laundering, theft, fraud, and violations of federal and state laws. Now, I have to say that these are only allegations, and I have no proof of this for my own, legal well-being here. But as far as the cover protocol, $100 million theft goes, they never listed their real names on any of the projects. They refused to basically do anything. Long story short, these guys have a long history. Well, looks like I lost my place on this one, but it doesn't really matter because you guys know we're talking financial runs, baby. We're going to be so motherfucking rich. Billions of fake shares just on these 2 exchanges.
Billions of fake shares.
FTX and Bitrex. Or shares that were sold, not yet purchased. That's even more dangerous.
They're not shares.
You can see here, huge shout out to RatToy2 on
They're not shares.
Twitter for finding this one here from Bitrex. And AM
Must have been so hard to find.
Huge shout out to my friend here. He's got some pretty bullish charts looking at Bitcoin collapsing just like it did previously when AMC and GameStop ran hard. Look at what happened the last time. Collapse, run, collapse, run, collapse. And now what happened with Bitcoin? Well, we all know what's happened with it over the last few days.
What about the times when it goes the same way?
Being held in the 16,000 range right now, for now. That's not going to last long, especially as these crypto exchange bankruptcies get pushed further and further out. Now, that being said, big shout out to Janjack said, there's no doubt that these tokenized securities are nothing but the securities sold, not yet purchased, or uncleared FTDs, which showed up on brokers' books. These are liabilities, aka debts, that market makers move out of the stock market into unregulated crypto derivatives.
What the fuck?
You guys know about CDOs? Remember that from The Big Short?
Oh, God. Here we go.
Never left. Nothing has changed. 2008 can just got kicked, and they're about to pay the fucking piper. And that's why we're going to be so fucking...
Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
The definition...
This is kicked can material from 2008 now? Oh, my God. Oh, my God. What the fuck? Jesus Christ. Are you guys hearing this? This is the kicked can material from 2008 we're talking about now. From 2008. You just referenced The Big Short. Oh, my God.
Of a CDO is a debt security collateralized by a number of debt obligations, including loans and bonds of different credit quality and maturity.
So let's read a definition.
What does this mean?
Okay.
Well, the tokenized stock's value, according to Bitrex Global, is based on the collateralized with the underlying asset. In this case, AMC, GameStop, etc. A traditional security and the value of the digital asset is determined by the value of the traditional security, hence the share price, ladies and gentlemen. They are collateralized by an equivalent notional amount of the traditional security, i.e., $100 of debt derivative would be collateralized with $100 of the traditional token security. 1 token would equal 1 share.
No, that's not what they just said. That's not what you
said.
said.
Share price, ladies and gentlemen. They are collateralized by an equivalent notional amount of the traditional security.
Traditional, I'm sorry, what?
They are collateralized by an equivalent notional
amount. Notional amount. Notional amount.
Of the traditional security.
Of the traditional security. A notional amount.
I.e., $100 of debt derivative would be collateralized with $100 of the traditional token.
No.
Security.
No, that's not.
1 token would equal 1 share.
Nope. That's not what you just read. That's not an equivalent notional amount. Oh my God.
How are they going to come up with 1 billion shares when only 513 million exist?
They don't have to come up with shares. They have to come up with an equivalent notional amount. An equivalent notional amount. Notice they didn't say shares.
This is the same thing we saw with the Brazilian depository receipts. And what's worse, people don't realize that American depository receipts are absolutely ripe with corruption. There is more criminality happening with American depository receipts being held overseas than there is with anything else. And those are all hidden because the CFTC does not follow Dodd-Frank regulations. So everything that Dodd-Frank did means absolute jack shit because they're just using ADRs, BDRs, from Brazil and America and all other countries, German depository receipts, etc. These tokenized stocks and cryptocurrency to create synthetic shares, to beat the stock price down without actually owning them. Tokenized stocks may also include leverage as well as long or short exposure, according to Bitrex. Here is the Citadel Securities Statement of Financial Condition. This is expressed in millions of dollars. Therefore, this security sold, not yet purchased, at fair value, using fair value accounting, not actual value accounting, is $65,703 million. But in reality, fair value accounting doesn't mean shit on the open market. The price keeps going up. Fair value accounting goes out the window. They got to pay whatever the fucking share price is. And they no longer have these bullshit money, printed money, these fake shares to play with anymore. Now here's Virtue Financial. Their financial instrument sold, not yet purchased, was $3,510,779,000, which was an increase of over $600 million from the year prior. And that was on December 31st, 2021. God only knows what it is now.
I mean, there's another line on there.
Jack AMC.
Basically the same value.
With any. They got to pay whatever the fuck.
Securities owned as fair value. Securities sold, not yet purchased, at fair value. These lines pretty much cancel out here. Yeah.
Share price is, and they know you can see now. It keeps going up.
That's how their business operates. I can't read that. It's too blurry.
Their financial instrument sold, not yet purchased, was $3,510,000,000.
I don't know if Lou said that or not.
Which was an increase of over, not including my ape shares, not including my other brokers, not including my, I have multiple brokers, not including my actual six-figure shares worth in contracts that I own on AMC 1. AMC 1, the derivatives basket, is basically 100 shares of APE and 100 shares of AMC. And I'm very much looking forward to selling some of those for a big profit, just like I did when my $40 calls back in June of 2021 went from $23 a piece basically to $6,000 per contract. Made a lot of money. And I expect to make even more this time. And I'm not talking millions. I'm not talking hundreds of millions. I'm here for billions with an S.
Wow.
And here's the perfect screenshot, thanks to
Delusional clown.
to remind everyone that these days will come again. What happened here? Well, let's see. We had 10% run, 20% run, 15% run, shorting, 15% run, 20%, 20%.
As if shorting is the only reason things go down, especially when you just said that they went up 100%. Never heard of fucking profit taking?
25%.
Fucking retard.
10% run, 8% run. And then you start to see the big boys. 45% runs, 35% runs, 100% runs, 115% runs, etc. Heavy shorting, and more and more and more.
Heavy shorting, right? This is when the fucking influencers took their profits.
Until we got up to, this was at $69 a share. Fucking primo. Thanks for taking this screenshot, my friend. And I think it's only a matter of time before we get right back up there. Now, I think that says enough about synthetic shares. I can go on and on and on, and I can keep fucking talking about this, but I'm not gonna. The next thing I'm gonna say is about DRS. Good. Now, Adam Aron did specifically mention direct registration of shares, and he said that retail has the right to do so. But he did not say, nor did he imply, that retail should or should not do it. Doing my own due diligence, I've come, and as well as my friends in the think tank, and Boss Blunt's think tank, we've come up with the fact that with the knowledge that the DTCC owns the DTC, which obtains the transfer from ComputerShare. Then the DTC sends them to the brokers for the other instruments for distribution. Noted here, DTC introduced a FAST system, which is an electronic custody transfer and deposit. These accounts are registered as seed and company. If you don't know about seed and company, you've got a lot of homework to do. And they represent on the transfer agent's books the sum total of shares that are issued and held by
a lot of homework.
Participants.
None of this
Participants
matters.
maintain corresponding books representing their shareholder accounts
Waste of
held in
time.
street name. DTC's deposit withdrawal at custodian program is used to transfer shares from the issuer to broker accounts from company holdings. DRS is operated through the DTC. They were established in the FAST system of 96, and it enables shares to be held on records of transfer agents in book entry form. The DRS also enables shares to be transferred electronically between transfer agents and participants. This means that it can be borrowed and transferred between the transfer agents and the participants. Transfer shares to street name from a transfer agent account, or they can transfer shares to a transfer agent account from the street name. In addition, the FINRA fixed the ex-dividend date, normally 2 business before the dividend record date. The transfer agents act as an issuer's paying agent for the dividends. The transfer agent disperses dividends to registered shareholders either by electronic funds transfer or check. If they disperse the dividend electronically to the DTC, which in turn forward the funds electronically to the brokers or other financial intermediaries for distribution to the beneficial shareholders. If it is a stock rather than a cash dividend, the transfer agent will generally issue shares in book entry form and send statements to the shareholders. This is the way that it works between institutional investors and retail investors. There's brokers, clearinghouses, the NSCC, the DTC, and the market makers, and the exchanges. And the shares can be moved back and forth here in between them. Once the shares are held by the DTCC or the DTCs, forgive me if I misspoke there, through DRS, that they can then be moved, and not moved, but they can be lent to anybody that the DTC wants through these systems that we just got done discussing. These are investors send orders to broker dealers.
Boss says
securities. The broker
DRS shares can still be lent
for execution to an exchange or to a marketplace.
even though Adam Aron said they can't be used to short.
Or specialist on these exchanges. The trade information is sent by the exchange or marketplace to the
Doesn't
NSCC
really matter.
for trade processing. The NSCC processes and records trades, issues to broker dealers a summary of all compared or recorded trades, including information on net securities positions and net money to be settled. Then the NSCC sends instructions to the DTC with net security positions to be settled. As deliveries are processed, net money to be settled is posted to their settlement system. The DTC transfers ownership of securities electronically, moving net securities positions from the selling broker's account to the NSCCs, and then from the NSCs to the buying brokers. Broker-dealers end up settling with banks, sending or receiving funds to the DTC to complete the settlement, at which time all securities movement become final. So these shares bounce around like there's no tomorrow. These are the daily total U.S. Treasury failures to deliver. Yes, you heard that right. The United States Treasury fails to fucking deliver. Here's another retail investor trade settlement flow of shares moving between the selling broker-dealer.
So here we're going to prove that the FTD thing is nonsense.
Transferred over between them and borrowed amongst each other between the banks. Again, more here. More of the same. Okay, and multilateral netting, bilateral netting, this is the biggest problem that we have going on right now with the markets. When one of the counterparties does not fulfill its settlement obligations by delivering the required securities, a failure to deliver occurs in CNS, continuous net settlement. You may have heard guys like AMC Bigums or myself talk about this before. Failures to deliver may be caused by the NSCC member failure to receive securities from a customer or counterparty to a previous transaction. While NSCC provides final settlement instructions to his members each day, the payment and transfer of securities ownership occurs at DTC.
Oh boy, here we go.
This
Pete
is an article
Pettit
from June 16th of 2015. Thank you again, Edward Britchuk. Make sure you guys check him out on Twitter. Illegal naked short selling appears to lie at the heart of an extensive stock manipulation scheme. This is not something new. We did not come up with this. Nobody made this up. This is the problem. The system has failed us, according to Sean Wenzel, who made these badass graphics. And he's not lying. You know what I like to say? I like to say, if buying and holding breaks the system, then the system was broken in the first place.
buying and holding doesn't break the system, though.
We're live now.
That's what fucking Warren Buffett does.
We are live, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, that we've talked about why I'll never DRS my shares, why I think it's a terrible idea, I haven't even touched on the fact that ComputerShare has a max cap on DRS. I haven't touched on a lot of those things. But here, you know what? I will just pull that up for you real quick, just in case you guys are wondering. In addition, DRS is a waste of time because there's a certain thing called short exempt. Shares can be sold short exempt by market makers in the name of liquidity at any moment. So direct registering your shares really doesn't do anything.
Why do they do that?
Lock up your shares.
Because
inside
people are
the
requesting
DTC,
to buy them,
allow
boss.
to use them for whatever the fuck they want.
No.
Plain and simple. I don't need DRS to win. Hedgies are fucked. That's all I got to say about that. In addition, for those of you that are unaware, ComputerShare, I'm sorry.
Same bullshit, brain dead shit you've been saying for over a year.
So they've removed the $200,000 limit on the sale price of securities, and they've max capped it at $3,000 a share. So if AMC or GameStop run to 5,000, 10,000, 50,000 a share, I don't fucking know. Those shares will only be sold at $3,000 a share. Sounds pretty shitty to me. That being said, take a look at this. Huge shout out to Gordon Johnson over here for posting this one up, because he says, what if I told you that CPI surprise yesterday was partially due to periodic adjustment that won't be reflected in the Fed favored core PCE that comes out right ahead of the December Fed FOMC meeting, the Fed meeting? Well, that's just what happened. This is the CPI for health insurance. It didn't go down, but look at it. You see this chart? It accounts for almost 1% of the overall CPI and 1.1% of the core CPI. Due to a periodic adjustment, it plunged 4% in October to September, or an aggregate of a 6.1% swing from September's 2.1% figure. This was by far the largest month-over-month fall in the Bureau of Labor Statistics data, going all the way back to 2025. And if you're a follower of this channel, a retail investor,
2025,
you know that we've been talking about this since 2021. We all know that healthcare costs have not fucking collapsed. They have not gone down this month from last. In fact, if healthcare costs stayed constant, October CPI would have been 5 basis points higher than it actually was. So it wouldn't have been 7.7. It would have been like 8.2, 8.3, which is terrible because it's over a 12-month trailing period, 12 trailing months, the 12 most recent months. Inflation hasn't gone down, ladies and gentlemen. These numbers are just skewed.
Well,
to
I
make
agree
people
with
like
that.
you and I think that inflation is starting to go down and it has peaked. Now, as a matter of fact, there's a guy that I like a lot by the name of Economic Ninja, and I've got to reach out to him on YouTube because he's absolutely wrong in the way that he stated that inflation has peaked. And the only reason I say that is because it's clear. Healthcare cost adjustments helped services, excluding energy, with the CPI, but it still jumped 6.7% year.
They don't call it the CPI for nothing.
Unchanged from the month, and the worst since August of 1982. And with energy inflation in October, CPI data is taking off again, creating a further rise. You will see hyperinflation, ladies and gentlemen. You haven't seen anything yet. You haven't seen anything. And I hate to say that. I hate to sound like a fearmonger, but I'm a realist, and I will always keep it fucking real. They don't call me Boss Blunts because I just like to smoke blunts. It's because I keep it blunt all the fucking time. There's been a whopping 1.8% month-over-month gas price increase, and 4% month-over-month, and 17.5% month-over-month, year-over-year gas price increase. I showed you that earlier, that certain companies have increased their gas, coal, and electricity prices by over 100%. 100%. Let me go over to Lit Exchange. We've got this awesome article that was posted by Lit Exchange.
SoftBank lost $100 million on FTX stake.
Sorry, I've been tweeting a lot. Things have been pretty crazy. Here.
Pretty crazy.
Electricity, coal, and gas increased 100% in the last 9 months. The company LMP in the first 9 months of 2022 increased 118% from $35 per megawatt hour to $77 per megawatt hour. Sorry. This was the highest average PJM price, the highest price increase, and the highest percent price increase since the creation of PJM markets. Coal and natural gas prices rose year on year. Coal and gas prices doubled in the East Coast, covered by PJM. What do you think is going to happen, ladies and gentlemen? Inflation is not at 7.7%. It's much higher. But there was a blip in the data from the Bureau of Labor Statistics in that healthcare costs that I just told you about, that made it inflect downward. So it is all bullshit. It's all lies. Inflation has not peaked. It is not coming down. It's actually continued to stay stagnant. The Fed will not pivot. FTX, 134 subsidiaries of FTX are now bankrupt.
Fed will not
This
pivot.
is a lot worse than Luna. This is a lot worse than Lehman Brothers. Lehman Brothers had $23 billion worth. $23 billion worth of securities and equities liabilities. And what you're seeing now is $50 billion worth of liabilities via FTX. That being said, make sure you're properly hedged. I like precious metals. I like my favorite meme stocks. I like tangible assets. I like cash on hand because cash is important. I like having food stored and stocked up. Lots of it. Because supply chain issues are rampant.
Blunt's prepper.
Worse. On that note, if you guys are looking for a broker-dealer in the near future, I expect to be releasing a broker-dealer by the name of Lit Exchange, and we're going to compete with the likes of Robinhood and Webull, Fidelity, and so on. Because I think it's very imperative that retail investors find a better option. Find a better option with actual transparency that has their best interest in mind, unlike FTX. That being said, I wish you peace and wealth. Have a great day. If you want to learn more about Lit Exchange, you can go to www.litexchange.app. Litexchange.app.
Litexchange.app. Be sure to go right over there. Okay, what about the AMC data dump?
What's up? What is going on? What is going on? What is going on? AMC, what's up, guys? From Boston here. Frank from Chicago. Say hi, Frank.
Hi, Frank.
What's going on?
I say Tiger Global is next.
Get the dicking of a lifetime. Tiger Global.
Goodbye, Tiger. Bye, Tiger. Tiger Global went out like a pussy. Oh.
Just absolute scumbags. Scumbags.
Oh, I agree.
Scumbags.
Jesus Christ. These guys.
Looking forward.
Don't cheat. Let's just take it to the street and see how it works. Because 2 years ago, I bet that this company wasn't going out of business. You bet that it was. I'm right, and it's time for you to pay up.
I'm supposed to do a space call as well, but I'm not sure how that's going to work out. It's a bit difficult doing the space call and this at the same time. Let me see.
While you're doing that, for the 193 that showed up in the live chat, I have an announcement for you. Black Panther Wakanda Forever, the sequel, just set a November box office record.
Boom.
So that's on Bazinga an hour ago. Just want you guys to know.
Oh, yay.
Go Long Disney, which just hit a 52-week low. I wish I had it now, but you know what? Tomorrow you may get a chance to buy it on sale.
Let's see if I got it here. Okay, I think I found it.
That announcement comes from Uncle Frank Finance YouTube channel. Wakanda Forever sequel sets November box office record.
Great.
Breaking. What's up now? What's up now, Ken?
Okay.
Wow.
So
what's up now, Ken?
Do the YouTube because it's a bit difficult doing the space call as well.
All right, hold on. I'm going to do the screen sharing. How do I do screen sharing?
Yeah, these guys are such clowns. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Screen sharing. Whiteboard? I don't. Give it
oh my god, what a fucking retard.
Yeah, let me see if I pivot away from this. Let me know if you're able to see the.
Oh my god.
So whatever it is that you're seeing here tonight, I'm gonna also post it on Twitter, so at least everybody has to see this.
Post it on Twitter.
Let me see if I can go ahead and do that while we're waiting a few more minutes.
Waiting a few more minutes. No, I don't have a few more minutes.
Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Where were the two motherfuckers that said that? They're getting booted right now.
No, that was funny, man.
Liquid Swords, goodbye.
Oh,
who's the other dumb fuck?
See, I thought that was creative, man.
Breaking news: SBF just found dead. Okay. Where did you Rick James has been around for a minute. Where did you find it, Rick James?
Yeah, don't block him, man. That's my boy.
Hold on, we're gonna find out right now where that came from.
You didn't even get a honeymoon story on Twitter.
Oh my God.
This is an Epstein suicide.
Oh, Jesus.
Where they have the link where it says the kid's dead.
This model really shows me AMC's fundamentals. What's really going on?
I don't know if Shadow Stars is still here, but I'm really curious as to what he's going to say here.
Right. How long do I think shorts will continue to hold their position? And what's their end game really in this? So that's what I did here to understand certain things. And I kind of got validation with a tweet I saw last night as well, which I sent to Al, I believe. So let's go into this a little bit. So here it talks about the current assets that AMC have, which is as of Q2, which is 1.8 billion. Then as of Q3, it's 685 billion because they burnt $1,115 million in cash from Q2 to Q3. So all the data that you're looking at here, guys, this is data that I pulled up from SEC filings, AMC's balance sheet and everything. So this is actual information. It's nothing where I am speculating, okay?
Well, it's already fucked up because it says this is Q2 of 2021. And he said from Q2 to Q3, that's a whole year. So already either disingenuous or just
I
wrong.
don't like to do the speculation stuff. So as you go ahead and you scroll down, here, let me scroll down, you'll see their entire assets and liabilities, the cash burn they have for Q2, the entire Q3 of 2021, they've burned $278 million in cash. So right now they have remaining $607,710,000 in cash. And in other assets, they have 220 million. That's like lines of credit and so forth. So in total, they have 827 million. But what's most important to me here is $607 million, because a line of credit is like your emergency, is your credit card you should never go into. You should only use what you have in cash. That's what I believe. And so I'm going to pay attention more to the $617 million they have in cash. So we're going to scroll down and we're going to look at their liabilities that they have. I did something called here, you have current asset to current liabilities, which is 0.56. So technically speaking, this is bad for a company. This is a company that's performing poor at the moment. And if let's just say we have a COVID again, they're bankrupt, put it that way. I'm not here to scare anybody. I'm just looking at hard proof data. So I'm going to show you the good news, the bad news, the horrible news, and I'm going to show you the light at the end of the tunnel and how we're going to win this. So we need to be strategic to understand what's happening now and how we can move forward. Working capital, this is current asset. They have $717,600,000 in pretty much negative assets. And what that really means is if you're to take their current cash that they have and you minus current liabilities, you're in the hole, right? That's pretty much your net worth, right? But unfortunately, fortunately for AMC, with current assets, this is a 12-month rolling period you're looking at. So the current assets, it's not due at the end of this year, which is in December, but it shows the current asset that is due for the next 12 months. So it works in a 12-month rolling period. So, for example, by December, they might have to maybe $5 million out of that 1.6 million. I hope you guys understand that. Now, the liabilities that we have here, we're looking at the end of December, they have $5 million due. One of their bonds they have to pay. In 2023, they have 128.1 million. 2024, and I'm going over these things because it's really, really important, and a lot of things people miss. And I'll make my point. I'll show you. I'll connect the dots. Why I'm going through these things and why I did it. And in 2025, they have $118,300,000. So I highlighted 2026, 2027, and 2029. So we're going to go over this later. So I'm going to leave this here for a moment, and I'm going to show you why I'm going to go over that later. So if we're looking at Q2, in 2024, their projected cash is going to be $617 million. Their current assets, and you have that. So pretty much in Q4.
Oh, I don't like this guy. He's not reading the numbers properly either. So he said 617 million. It says 607,710. I don't like this
projected
guy.
to burn an additional
Sounds like he's full of shit
$77
too.
million in cash. And the reason why they're projected to burn that much is because their projected revenue, which I did here, is projected to be $1.367 billion, one of the best quarter AMC will have. But they have a gross profit. If you look at their cost of profit is this, cost of revenue is this much. And they have a gross profit projected of $177 million. That's amazing. Where the cash burn comes in, and if you look at this, projected cost of revenue, I'm not sure if I'm speaking too fast for everybody. Projected cost, right? And I put that in green, which is good. Historically speaking, AMC's projected cost of revenue ratio is somewhere around 80 to 82, 83-ish. So if we're staying within the 82 area, it means they're going back to pre-pandemic level, which is pretty good. So keep that in mind so that you guys understand what the numbers really signify. Anything in red is not good, or anything over $1 million they have. So they're going to burn cash, even though they're... See, you can see, if you go back, AMC has been burning cash because they have no profit. Here, you can see improvements, and that's why I did this. So at least I can understand and see what's happening.
What?
So which number you're referring to?
Right next to you, to the right of that, right of the 333. I-26, yeah.
Okay, so yes, I'm going to go over that in a moment. So if you look here as well, I actually put in the revenue growth, and the revenue growth is year over year. So it means this is 2022. So last year, this is supposed to be percentage, 16.66% growth. So we've grown from 2021 at the end of 2022. Our revenue has grown astonishingly by 69.59%.
We could go black
amazing.
for Q4 of this year. Some of the analysts on Wall Street will use the back rent and some will not. I'm wondering what approach you took on that, because it's handled differently because it can be rapidly settled, worse deliberately, but most of the analysts did not. So I'm curious on your approach.
Okay, you're referring to back rent and leasing agreements that AMC has, right?
Correct.
Okay, so those back rents and leasing agreements AMC have, if you look, and I went back here, so I look at the numbers from interest payment and then lease agreements and everything they have, they're still going to turn a profit. Where they're burning cash is whenever they're making interest payments, and if they're
Tiff, come on. How much longer?
What's that?
Hello?
Hello. Sorry.
Somebody said something?
I think he was yelling at somebody. Go ahead, Ali.
Can you hear me?
Sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. I thought I was on mute.
Okay, I'm not sure if that was for me.
No, it was not for you. And thank you for answering my question on the back rents, because as it was explained to me by someone with alienable this debt, and that's why a lot of analysts won't include it. A lot of when a theater is like the anchor tenant for a mall, you know, they're not going to let you go so that it could be an empty space, or you know, they're going to put laser tag in the friggin' space. You know, they want to keep an anchor tenant like AMC especially. So I was just curious if you were going to use it. And on the asset side, I'm wondering how, Avi, and you don't have to answer this now. You can, at the end of your presentation if you'd like. But I know we have a position in, 22% of Highcroft.
Mm-hmm.
Can we value the warrants that we can convert?
So that are all questions I'm going to answer at the end.
Okay, fine.
There's a point I'm trying to make. If you look at this here, they're still turning a gross profit, but still having a net loss. So the entire 2022, AMC would have burned projectedly $758 million at the end of 2022. That's a lot. So now let's look at the entire. I'm gonna remove the quarters and just deal with the annual figures here. So at the end of 2023, AMC is projected to have $172 million. Here their current, let's see what we're looking at here. Their current asset would be $392 million. Here their cash burn would have been $435 million. Let's go here. So if you look, what's important here, Frank, is that their cash burn is decreasing.
Seriously, Chuck.
Right? Their net
really
loss is decreasing substantially if you pay attention to it. So yet they're losing money in 2023, and though they have a cash burn of $377 million, they still have cash remaining. So when we go over, and let me show you here as well. Their revenue
have to have more than 100 million
projectedly from the prior year of 2022. But what's amazing as well is that the box office revenue, AMC currently with their revenue they have from ticket sales and food and drink, they currently have usually 5.19% of whatever the box office does. So because theaters are going bankrupt, it makes sense, common sense, that AMC will control more of the market share. Would you agree with that, Frank?
Yep.
Right?
Absolutely.
So the numbers here that I have, 51%, I have grown that market share by less than 1% because I'm being very conservative. But I assume AMC will hit higher than 51% of the market share for the gross box office. So they're going to continue growing in that sense. So we're 0.085 of this year was the projected cost of revenue ratio, which is good. We want to stay in the green. Once we're in the green, we're fine, right? So AMC projected gross profit is $784 million by the end of 2023. That is astonishing. Going from 2021 numbers, the company's now turning a gross profit of $784 million. Where they're losing money is the cost of debts that they have, which is about $5 billion in debts. They're burning about $400 million a year in interest payments. Now, if we look at 2024, here, their current cash will deplete to $98 million.
That will not work.
Burn $73 million in 2024 compared to $435
They have to have more than 100 million on hand.
That is amazing, Frank. That's astonishing. We're looking at numbers, and you're listening to Wall Street say AMC's not going to turn a profit. They're not making money. They're making a profit. Where they're losing money is the bond, the interest payment on the bonds.
Right.
So
I think the other thing that's turning in their favor is the amount of money they capture per film year to date in 2022 is now just under 15 million. It's at 14,904,000. Yeah. And what's significant about that is if we have a quarter like we did top line in the second quarter, with the advent of what's happening to Cineworld and Regal, we should be getting a larger share of that top line that we previously didn't get. And in my analysis, which is a different approach, you'd have to go back to 2010 to find a year where we're actually doing 15 million or more.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that was the year that Avatar came out, and obviously Adam has been complaining after the earnings release. He did this little media tour, and he's been saying, "Look, I don't have the product." And what he means by that is our year-to-date releases stand at only 427 films, where in 2019, which is the year we're constantly being compared to, we released 910.
Yes.
And I'm quick to point out to people that in 2019, we were only capturing 12.5 million per film. So, if you can spike up the number of films that you get, I was really confident about 2023, but I'm encouraged by your I was waiting for the first analyst to come out and start crunching the numbers, and I figured we'd have to wait till at least, next week, because now you'll have top line numbers to work with from Black Panther 2.
Yes.
So, but this is really encouraging so far.
Yeah. So these numbers that I'm using, I'm not
Really
trying
encouraging.
to inflate anything. Is
Right.
being more realistic and conservative with my numbers, because I do not want to sell hopium to anybody, right? That's what I'm not here for. The reason we burnt $435
New
million
OBV data.
in fiscal year 2023 is because if you look here, AMC has a long-term principal due in 2023 of $128,100,000. So it had to come out of their cash pile.
Right.
And that's why you saw that much cash is being burned, because there was
the
a
Dow is so close to being up.
So I put that over here as well. Now, in
Avi, the one thing that stopped me from taking this route was I didn't know what the projectors were going to cost or how they were going to pay for them. Did you ever uncover anything in your research that gave you an indication of how they were going to pay for this?
Are you referring to the projectors, the new ones that they're installing, the laser?
Right.
I think numbers as of Q3 that we're looking at. So if we go to Q3 here,
And that's it. Great. So crypto is continuing to go down. See what we got here. Japan is down slightly. Such, I have no idea. Are we going to see fallout from the crypto thing spill over to equities? Man, I really don't know. This is tough market. So let's see here. So I wonder why they just cut off so quickly there. That was weird. Never did get
2
back to
million.
margin calls
Days cover 5.69, and it does have a 100% share utilization. Obviously, it's been this way for months. Cost to borrow rates have been spiking ever since this crypto situation has started to develop with FTX. Now, cost to borrow rates ranging in between 90 and 355%. The last readings that we actually did get.
So just tell us it's going to squeeze next week.
So, guys, that is going to be all for this video. Hopefully, long story short, you get it that crypto falters are positive for AMC, and the worse it gets, the more positive I think people should be on potentially seeing those margin squeezed out of their position.
All right.
So that is going to be all for this video. Expecting some very bullish things for AMC in this upcoming week. Not so much for the crypto markets. Let me know what you guys think about this down below in the comment section. Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel if you guys want to come trade with me live in real time as well. Link down below in the description of this video. You guys enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, so
in the next one.
We're going to monitor what's happening and see. But it seems like now the FTX catalyst is in full swing. So we have that to look forward to. And who knows with these markets here. But we'll check in. We're going to be off work the next couple days. So we'll be around maybe to do some more video work or streaming. But until then, have a good one. Catch you later. Good night.